CNE game from Toronto, where the Argonauts are hoping the excitement in and around BMO Field helps them snap their 3-game slide. Speaking of slides, the panel, you knew we had to get in on the festivities, and look who came up victorious.
They gave you the fastest slide, Kate.
Oh, that was winning fair and square.
Cheater.
Fair and square, Milt. Take that. Once again, for the Toronto Argonauts, it will be Nick Arbuckle under center. Unfortunately, 0-2 in his career against the BC Lions, but 4 straight games of 300-plus yards. We'll see what he does tonight. Now, unfortunately, on the other side for the Argonauts, Nathan Rourke has been playing absolutely fantastic as of late. Nearly 400 passing yards in his last game and 4 TDs as the BC Lions look to be on the way up. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Toronto. What a place to be on Saturday, the first game of our doubleheader. Enoch Mwamba, Dave Naylor, Milt Stegall as we get set for the Toronto Argonauts and the BC Lions. And look, Milt, it is all fun and games.
Yes.
And hopefully for the Toronto Argos today, it's all fun and games, but this is a tough test.
This is very tough, and Nathan Rourke is going to control the outcome of this game. We know he can score points. We know the Argos can score points. But if the Argos can somehow slow down Nathan Rourke, they have a great opportunity to win this game. I know it's some Captain Obvious stuff, but the Argo offense cannot try to go out there and go blow for blow for Nathan Rourke. They got to slow him down, and I think they have enough in their offense where they can win this game.
You know, we always say every CFL game, it seems it comes down to the final 3 minutes. Well, this one's going to come down to first down. The BC Lions on first down. They have the best first down yardage in the CFL. The Argos give up the most on first down. If the Lions roll on first down this afternoon, it could be a very long afternoon for the Toronto Argonauts.
And they have to stop him. It's almost impossible to stop completely Nathan Rourke. The way that the magnitude and the amount of things that he can do, whether it's running the ball and throwing the ball and dissecting defenses, he does a great job. One of the things they're going to have to do is stop this man right here, James Butler. It's already going to be a tough task to stop Nathan Rourke. The one thing you can't do to make a tough task even tougher, make him two-dimensional. So stop James Butler.
What is that, Kate?
And normally I'm not one for stuffed animals, but you see, we were at the CNE, and I won every game.
You didn't win everything,
Every single game.
They gave it to you, Kate. They gave it to you.
We have video evidence. Look at this. Who wins this one?
There was a camera following us?
The entire time, Enoch. Winner. I want a bat. And let's go to the whack-a-mole. Guess who won?
We're perfect gentlemen.
I had so many, I couldn't even bring them back.
Replay center on whack-a-mole.
Watala of Kamloops, BC. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save On Foods' $1 million touchdown win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could win $1 million. Good luck, Teresa. Let's get you to Rod Smith and Paul Lapolice.
Thank you, Kate. It is the only exhibition game that counts in the standings. Welcome to the BMO Field on the grounds of the CNE. As fans flock in, Lapo and I didn't get our chance to get on the Ferris wheel. Maybe afterwards. It's a good crowd here. It's, you know, they're expecting the biggest crowd for an Argo game since 2018, with everyone flocking to the X. Welcome, everybody. And thanks again for joining us. I mean, one of the attractions, Lapo, has to be that BC Lions offense. Not only Nathan Rourke, or Keon Hatcher, the league's leading receiver, but their leading rusher, James Butler.
James Butler is leading the Canadian Football League in rushing yards. I expect him to get many touches this game, facing this worst Argonaut defense against the run. Andrew Chatfield, one of the bright spots for this Argo. He's tied for second in the CFL with 6 sacks this season. He's been a force on the outside.
Brian Dinwiddie in his 5th season as Argos head coach. This one easily the toughest, coming off their 3rd straight loss at Edmonton last week. And Buck Pierce's Lions, they're trending the other way with back-to-back wins over 2 other Eastern teams, Hamilton and the Montreal Alouettes last week in Vancouver. There's Janarian Grant. The Argos won the toss. They won the right to take the ball first. They will, as Grant standing back there for the kick return at Jake Herslow. The other returner back, and he finds some room. Jake Herslow, good running with the football, and gives the Argos and Nick Arbuckle a good place to start here in this game at the X.
A boundary return here for Jake. Does an excellent job starting up inside, then bouncing it back outside, breaking 1 tackle, getting big yardage up around the sideline, puts the ball to 55. Huge start for the Argos, help them in their offense.
As mentioned, lost their 3rd straight last week at Commonwealth, 28-20 to the Edmonton Elks, sitting with a record of 2-8 coming into this game. It's not over, but they got a lot of work to do in the second half of this season. Here's Arbuckle. Second leading passer in the CFL behind Bo Levi Mitchell. Completes his first one, too, and a first down. Tavares Daniels.
Arbuckle's really good. The big story for tonight is what's going to happen with, you saw Tavares Daniels just get that first catch. You know, how do they overcome the loss of Coxie, the biggest big play receiver in the Canadian Football League right now from a yardage standpoint, 30-plus plays. So they've got to make sure it can't be about big plays. Stay on the field, keep BC Lions off the field, and get some drives for touchdowns.
Good start into the Lions zone. The handoff in the first carry for Deontay McMahon, who has a pickup inside the BC 40. A look at that Argos starting offense.
Brandon Kemp gets his 2nd start with the Argos, being signed just a couple of weeks ago. He's played 13 games over 13 seasons. I just talked about it. Tavares Daniels, he's got to show up and make some plays, give Nick Arbuckle somebody who can push the ball downfield to, take a couple of shot plays.
McMahon only 129 yards rushing with the Argos. He missed 3 games with injury. The leading rusher in the Argos is Nick Arbuckle coming in. Their quarterback on the second down, and he jumps it off to David Ungerer. Easy first down to the 25, and that picked up by David Ungerer.
Very consistent receiver, Ungerer. Very consistent by Nick Arbuckle here, looking for the downfield throws. And again, the strength of Nick Arbuckle is when he doesn't see anything downfield, he's going to hit the underneath thrower. The underneath throw, Ungerer is going to catch it, get north-south for the first down. Always good things as everybody lifts the defense, take the underneath throws.
Ungerer had a good game last week in Edmonton, including 1 big play in the first half. 4 catches, 96 yards. First down, handing off. No, dumping it off now to McMahon after the fake to him as he cuts it back. Good work after the catch by Deontay McMahon. Another first down as they work it down close to the Lions' 10.
Little pressure and a misdirection. You fake a reverse so you can get the ball out to your tailback in space. And look at this, he's making people miss, makes bets miss. Just talented players, ball in space, what you want to do. McMahon, very difficult to bring down. Nice play design on 1st and 10.
Argos looking for another good start on this field. 2 weeks ago, they had a 22-1 lead on Ottawa after 1 quarter, but couldn't hang on to that lead. Little toss on the sweep and cutting it back because Janarian Grant has nowhere to run. Lions did a great job on that, including the ex-Argo Dwayne Hendricks coming into the Toronto backfield.
Matthew Betts, leader of this D-line group, 21 defensive tackles, 3 sacks this season. And how about this guy? His 4th time with this football club, first in the CFL tackles, defensive plays. Micah Awe and Gary Peters leads a consistent defensive back group as this unit has started 10 games all season. They have not had a guy miss the game out of this unit in the defensive backfield.
Lost yardage for the Argos and Janarian Grant, pushing them back outside the Lions 15. the second down play, Arbuckle moving off, sliding to the left and throws it. It is caught, but it's caught in the Argos sideline. So nothing there, and the field goal unit will come on.
A little bit of pressure on the inside, forces Nick to scramble. Good coverage in the back end by the BC Lions, and Nick throws it away, ensure the right to kick the field goal.
Lirim Hajrullahu, 21 of 23 on the season. Last week, 3 for 3 in Edmonton. And this one, a short attempt from about the 23-yard line to be put down by John Haggerty and be snapped, by the way, by Simon Chavez, his third CFL team this season. Just being signed recently, picked up from Hamilton, and Hajrullahu puts that one through. So opening possession of this game, opening points too for the Argos. Nathan Rourke looking very reminiscent to his breakout year in 2022 with the numbers he's putting up. He gets the ball coming up on the CFL on TSN at the X. Last week in Vancouver, the Lions beat the Montreal Alouettes, and Nathan Rourke flirted with another 400-yard passing day against the Owls. Lapo.
4 touchdowns, and his ability to get the ball in his hand quickly is what I'm amazed at. You have quarterbacks that look for the ball downfield. You see a bunch of deep shot plays, but his processing speed, and what I mean, how quickly he gets through his reads and finds receivers is, I think, the biggest strength that he has, and he has no problem throwing check down until he sees the deeper shots downfield. Very impressive to watch on film.
First play for Nathan Rourke with an empty backfield. 4 receivers out to the right. Looks over the middle, deep, it's caught. Oh, and a beautiful catch, too, by the leading receiver in the Canadian Football League, Keon Hatcher. Just one play, already down to the Argonaut 40.
Fourth receiver to the field. It's going to bounce right into the middle. This is a middle open defense. Nobody in the middle of the field. BC Lions put a guy right in the middle. Makes it easy for him. Now they go tempo rod right here. So they ran up, went tempo, and ran a play.
Yeah, I got right back to Hatcher there. Back-to-back plays for him as another first down. So 2 quick strikes. Rourke to Hatcher, and the Lions mean business are down inside the Argo 30 already, down to the 28.
Good vision by Nathan Rourke on the first play. Toronto played what you call a middle open defensive split safeties, and the BC Lions put a guy right down the middle of the field. Hit the ball right down to the middle.
Rourke, who was a high school star growing up in nearby Oakville, Ontario, at Holy Trinity, is about 40 minutes away from this stadium. Faking the handoff to Butler, throwing again, first incompletion, as he attempted to get that one to Justin McInnes. Incomplete, second down coming up.
BC Lions offensively, you take a look at this offensive line. You know, all games this year, I've not seen a team start 4 American offensive linemen. There's Il Manning in his 4th start. So that's a good unit here. All right, Keon Hatcher last week was a force, career high 11 catches, 156 yards, 2 TDs, and he leads the CFL in almost every receiving category.
With his 2 catches in this game, he's gone over 900 yards receiving, leading the way in the Canadian Football League. Second down and 10. Rourke, pressure coming, gets rid of it, nearly picked off, and it's caught instead. Aiden Eberhardt, how alert is that when it went off the fingertips of an Argo defender instead? He comes in, he takes the ball, gets it down to the 10. Looks like a 1st and goal coming up here for the Lions.
Pressure from the inside. You want to try to handle that inside. Nathan sees it, gets the ball out of his hands as quickly as he can.
They run tempo, faking the handoff inside the 5. Touchdown, BC. Javon Catoy. Right after that play by Eberhardt, the Lions get up over the ball. They ran that play, and in just a handful of plays, they worked their way down the field into the end zone to take the lead.
Tempo play, try to go fast, send a receiver on a BTL behind the line of scrimmage play, so it looks like a run play, but he has options to pull it. He pulls it immediately, beats the pressure on the outside. Touchdown to Catoy.
Catoy, yeah, his 4th TD of the season, Javon Catoy. That's the 17th touchdown pass for Nathan Rourke.
A couple of tempo plays that first drive, Rob.
What an impressive start for Rourke and the Lions. Rourke went 4 for 5, 70 yards, and into the end zone right there. Rourke to Katoy, 7-3, BC.
5 plays, 70 yards, only a minute 54. 30-yard gain right off the bat to Keon Hatcher. The middle of field wide open. A couple of tempo plays to keep the Argos off balance. Another one outside to Hatcher. And this is an amazing one. Almost an interception. And the Hearts right around there to make the catch. A little bit tempo again. Katoy gets into the end zone. Great start for the BC Lions offense.
Yeah, kudos obviously to Rourke in the offense, but Aiden Everhart for that play, which led to that. Javon Katoy and his touchdown catch. It's given BC the lead. So Janarian Grant has it down at the 20 and heading off to the right. And coverage good there. Jackson Finley went to school at Western Ontario, coming in, making the tackle and special teams. Nick Arbuckle, 4 for 5 in this game for 35 yards. Here's what he did last week in Edmonton. Now, bear in mind, mentioned Lapo, he's the second leading passer in yardage in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, done a good job this season keeping up. They haven't been able to run the ball very well. We'll talk about that, but he has been putting the ball up a ton. Got a good control. He's got the most interceptions in the Canadian Football League with 10, but he has provided a spark for this Argonauts offense.
Like Rourke in his last game, flirting with 400 yards passing, over 3,000 on the season behind only Bo Levi Mitchell of the Ticats. 1st and 10, Toronto with the 36, down by 4. Taking the handoff off to Kevin Mittal. Coming in to make a good defensive play there is Christophe Beaulieu, the safety, coming in and making the tackle there on Mittal.
Nick tries to get things going. You can see here 3,000 yards. They've been a team that's thrown the ball first, not tried to run the football. Completion percentage is an all-time high for Nick. 17 touchdowns, and as I said before, most interceptions, tied for most in the years in the CFL with Zach Claris. But good rhythm from him week in and week out, staying on the field, creating first downs.
There's the Laval connection with Beaulieu tackling Mittal there and knocking down Arbuckle. The sack for the Lions, and no chance at all for Nick Arbuckle there with the pressure coming in for BC. Have another look at this one. With
pressure off the edge from Patrice Rene, you'll see Matthew Betts blitz inside, or he'll end up rushing inside. He beats the left guard, Sage Dockstader, and is able to get in there. Patrice Rene is also coming in. You got to hold up, give him more opportunities. You got to hold up on the inside player. You can't get beat inside like that. Hard opportunity for the quarterback's not going to have any time, Rod, to be able to throw the ball and get beat inside.
So Deontay Williams, Lapo, does get the sack in his first year with BC. Started his career with Saskatchewan. John Haggerty to punt. Lions got some pressure on him, but he does get it away. It's Seven McGee on the return after a 57-yard punt. McGee getting it up to the BC 32. Let's go to the Yak, shall we? Many have today, and a nice overcast day here in Toronto. We'll be back. 3 big offensive starts for the BC Lions. These numbers updated, by the way, with Nathan Rourke 3rd in passing. And then you got the leaders in receiving and in rushing, Lapo, with Keon Hatcher and James Butler.
Yeah, it's kind of a pick your poison with this offensive unit. And this is very hard when an offensive unit is rolling all cylinders. You add tempo into this. Last week, they had 391 yards on first down. Crazy number.
Second time they had the ball. Last time they quickly went down for a touchdown. And there is the handoff to James Butler, getting a touch for the first time, and picks up about 4 yards with a second down coming up against that Argo defense.
Ricky Correa draws his first start, defensive tackle, first year from California. Big body, 325 pounds, trying to stop the run, helping stop the run. Wynton McManus, great middle linebacker, leader of this defense. And Delonte Hood, first start, big, fast, 425 yards, has an amazing journey to the Canadian Football League we'll talk about later.
Second down. Out of shotgun, Rourke over the middle. It is caught and trying to push through for a first down. Very close. Furthest advancement had to get past the 42, and it looks like it may be enough here for BC, given this spot.
Let's see what this penalty
Major foul,
is.
roughing the passer. Montreal number 91.
Well, doesn't matter.
Toronto number 91. 15 yards out of the end of play. Automatic first down.
Tim Croker working his 300th CFL game. Congratulations to Tim. Started back in 2006, graduate of Saskatoon football. Another look at this roughing the passer call.
Looks like at the end whether Chatfield made contact to the head on this roughing pass. Pressure from the Argos on that second down, trying to slow down Nathan Rourke and company. Good pass underneath. McInnes falls forward for the first one.
Net gain of 23 yards. Rourke again, completing again. Stanley Berryhill gets in on the act and quickly again. BC just working methodically down the field inside the Argo 25 already. A 28-yard pickup.
You bend into the middle of the field when you have split safeties. Find the space in between, widen the Will linebacker and the Mike linebacker, and throw behind the window. Too much space in this zone for Berryhill and Nathan Rourke.
Already Rourke 6 for 7. He's already passed for over 100 yards in this game. There's still over 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Deep in the Argo zone, gets rid of it again before he is taken down, and that is Eberhard, who had just that amazing catch off the deflection. All things considered, down at the Argo 10 in their first drive. That gets them a little bit closer, second and short.
This is one of the things I really see from Nathan. You even have quarterbacks who are downfield guys to underneath guys' throws. He's always looking for the underneath throws. Like the ball comes out of his hands so quickly. He's looking, hey, do I got to check down? I'm going to take that check down, put me in second and short. The processing speed, Nathan Rourke, is what makes this O-line play better, what these quarterbacks, these receivers play better too.
Looking very sharp right now. Second and short. Butler again. First down and more. James Butler working it down towards the goal line for the BC Lions. Butler. And a touchdown, BC. They are working quickly, putting the Argos in an early hole.
Watch the block by Corey Woodruff. He's going to create a seam, and Wynton McManus is going to get a chance, but Butler makes a miss as he gets through there. But there's the seam that's created by the left side of the offensive line. Butler does the rest, makes McManus miss. Another quick, fast-hitting drive, Rod, for this BC Lions offense.
Another point after Rashawn White. As you saw Butler going into the end zone, a great job of staying up. Looked like he might have been going down right at the goal line, but knee didn't touch before he got into the Argo end zone. Butler does it again. James Butler, Lapo, picks up another rushing touchdown to cap up another quick drive by BC.
Yeah, a stunning play at the line of scrimmage. Really good push. A little bit of a double team right there on Lanier to create that little seam for Butler to get inside. Offensive line working really well. Butler making people miss. And Nathan Rourke, completion, quick passes, get the ball downfield for easy touchdown.
Yeah, his 7th rushing touchdown, his 8th touchdown overall for James Butler. Leading the way in the CFL on the ground, having quite a year. And by the way, another 5-play drive. That covered 78 yards. Back-to-back 5-play touchdown drives for the BC Lions, who are really jumping on the Argos early in this one as Carl Meyer gets set to kick it off. They have a 14-3 lead. 2 possessions, 2 TDs, still 4 minutes to go until quarter time. Meyer sends it Janarian Grant's way down around the 20 of Toronto. They need something big to happen. The Argos do at this point in time. And Grant, while he's been known to make it happen, good coverage again on the special teams by the BC Lions. How about James Butler? Let's get more from Matthew Shinetti.
Before he came back to the BC Lions, James Butler was thinking of going into tech sales. It seems incredible now, given the fact that he is the CFL's leading rusher and rushing as hard as he is. And I asked him about that pregame, and he certainly brought up the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but not only some of their feedback last year when he was in Hamilton, but also earlier this week when he was speaking with the media. Butler was asked, being a smart back, maybe not an explosive back, how did he see his game unfolding this season? And he stopped and said, "You don't think I'm an explosive back, eh?" those little comments is what James Butler and what is feeding this hard running so far this season. It's not that he's sensitive, it's just feeding him because he knows that he can execute. Being back in BC and comfortable in this offense has allowed him to kind of hone in and be the leading rushing blocker.
And Matthew, it shows. It certainly does. You see that pass attempt by Arbuckle, but it was caught out of bounds. But we talked to Butler a few weeks ago before the Ticats games, and they were back-to-back. And, you know, he was being diplomatic about it, about playing his old team, but you could tell, and he finally did admit, a fire really burned the way things ended with the Ticats, and it certainly showed in his performance against Hamilton as well.
And I know, I know the organization, the BC Lions, said, we want this guy back. He fits what we want to do offensively, and Buck Pierce's system fits well for a tailback who's talented.
2nd and 10, more heat on Arbuckle. Tries to set, he completes it too. That one, David Unger catches it. That is a catch and a first down up around the 47 of Toronto.
Nick Arbuckle sees he's got the intelligence. The pass protection's good. Can't find anybody downfield. So then what does he do? He just kind of waits, moves, climbs the pocket a little bit, works to throw this wide side of the field to David Unger. You watch the attention to his ability to keep 1 foot in bounds is amazing.
So 2 catches for 27 yards in this game for David Unger.
1 foot in the bound. You only have to have 1 foot in bounds. This is a drill you do with your receivers once a week where you're catching it at the sideline. So really good having that right foot down. Great concentration.
After a gain of 14 just inside the Lions zone, Deontay McMahon. They didn't need much. Needed about a... See where they spot this now.
What's really important here for the Toronto Argonauts, and obviously we know they're down 14-3, but the biggest thing this offense has to do, they have to sustain a drive and keep the BC Lions off the field. Because the BC Lions are going tempo, getting first downs on first down. They got to hold on to this ball, get the Toronto Argonauts defense on the sideline for a little bit of a breather and a break.
So that is a 1st and 10 now. Lions 53. Here's Arbuckle moving around again, completes that off to the sideline to Vitale. Shy of a first down, getting it down around the 45 of BC. Another catch for Kevin Vitale.
You can see him look this way, then scramble. And that's what the BC Lions defense is doing very good to start the game. Can't find his primary, can't find his next throw. Now I got to scramble. This is the 3rd time I've seen BC Lions pass coverage put Nick Arbuckle's offensive line in a difficult situation where he's holding the football. So good execution by BC Lions defense, not letting him get to his first read.
2nd and a little more than 2 now for the Argos in a 14-3 hole. And again to McMahon pushing to get that first down yardage and to get it just down inside the 43 of BC, as he looks to be slow to get up.
McMahon just runs into the at all 5'8", 185 yards, pounds. He ran right into the defensive lineman trying to get that extra yardage. He hurt his shoulder as he did that.
Tomasi Lalile in on that and coming off. Another look at the Argos trying to get a rushing game going, Lapo.
Yeah, and you can see like him just coming in here and he's like, all right, I got to get this extra yardage. As the D-line starts to close on him. Great physicality by the runner.
They have not run the ball, as mentioned, at all this year really well. And that compares to last year when they had Kadeem Carey and Daniel Adeboboye along with McMahon and had a terrific running game. But you look at the difference from 24, Lapo. What a stark change in where they rank now in running the football.
And that comes with changes in your offensive line. You have major changes, a number of players out. Ryan Hunter's not is on the 6-game list, so you've got some changes there. And then all the I was amazed when you look at these stats that Nick Arbuckle's the lead, as you already said off the top, that Nick Arbuckle's the leading running back on the football team. So they've got to find a way to just do something so it's not throw, because you can't put your O-line in a position where it's pass 100% of the time.
Yeah, it's been tough for Ryan Dinwiddie, all that change up front, and the injury to George Moore at left tackle with Brandon Kemp getting his 2nd start on the left side, and newcomer Sage Dockstader at guard, and John Boss in his first year at right tackle, and Anthony Vandell, 58 at a Sherbrooke in his second year. Peter Nicastro, the veteran on that offensive line, in his fourth year out of the University of Calgary.
And that's why it's so important when you talk about, like, I can recall working years ago with a coach who loved to throw the football, and he kept throwing the football, and then he would, there's Ryan, is that Ryan Hunter?
That's
right
Ryan
there?
Hunter
Yeah,
there,
there's
yeah.
Ryan Hunter right there. And the coach would say, hey, geez, our offensive line's not picking things up very well. I'm like, well, when you throw it 9 times straight, you have to do other things to help your offensive line. So that's what they have to keep trying to do this, make sure that they give an opportunity. I know it's frustrating at times, but you still have to try to have some balance.
Well, this certainly won't help with their feature running back, Deontay McMahon, trying to add to those running totals. He gets the first down, but he limps off the field. Now it's Spencer Brown, recently acquired by Toronto, in the backfield next to Arbuckle. Looks to throw again to the right, and that is caught by Vital, who stays in bounds. It looks like he has another Toronto first down.
As Nick looks over here, he's going to see a high-low and go one on one side, one on the other. Patrice Rene stays inside. He throws the outside route. Easy completion on the outside.
Down to the Lions 32. Argos need some points. They open with a field goal. There's the toss inside. Sweeping to the right is Vital. And another good carry by Vital after getting the ball in his hands. And a little chest pass from Arbuckle. He takes it in for another first down inside the BC 20.
Here's a chest pass. This is basically a glorified toss play. The tailback becomes an extra blocker. You get a good kick out. This is run game. This is the stuff you keep the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, and they can try to find creative ways to run the football. Excellent by the Toronto Argonauts offense.
Down just inside the 19. The Argos open this game with a drive for a field goal, but it's been all Lions since. 2 possessions, 2 drives for touchdowns. Here comes Toronto, handing off to Spencer Brown left, looking for an opening, but he can't get much. Not at all there. Patrice Rene involved in the tackle, and so too is Matthew Betts. In the first quarter, essentially dominated by the BC Lions offense, marching down the field. As mentioned, one of the attractions today of many at the X, the CNE. 1 quarter belongs to BC, leading it 14-3 into the first 15. 14-3 BC through 1 quarter here at the X, and the Lions really impressive on those 2 possessions. Hey, some of the stats, they're closer really than it's kind of misleading given what BC's been able to do.
Yeah, Butler's averaging 10 yards a carry. Nathan Rourke's got 1 incompletion. So, yeah, you can have one of those. These are
Tiny Toms.
Tiny Toms. We're at the X,
feature here
right?
at the X. So go ahead. Sorry.
What has to happen here? There he is, Tiny Tom Donuts. We love it. Defensively, they've had a couple opportunities. They almost got an interception. Everhart was there to take that ball away. They're going to have to do something to slow them down, whether it be pressure or other things. This is a good drive by this Toronto offense. They're going to finish with some points here. They've allowed Toronto's defensive players a break on the sideline, but the BC Lions will continue to come after them. So good drive here by the Argonauts.
10th play of the drive coming up here now. Nick Arbuckle. They get pressure. Knocked away, nearly intercepted too. It's Jackson Finley, the safety, coming in and knocking that one down to set up a 3rd down and field goal unit coming on here for the Argonauts.
Man coverage by the defense of the BC Lions across the board. 2 deep, 2 players deep. Watch Finlay, the first-round draft pick, getting an opportunity, making some plays in some of their extra packages where they have extra DBs in the field. Really good man coverage across the board. Nick couldn't find anybody in the field, flipped his hips. Jackson Finlay undercuts the throw.
Haggerty to put it down at the 25. Hyrelau 1 for 1 on the afternoon. 3 more on the board for the Argos, who are currently trailing 14-6 and trading field goals for the touchdown to BC. As Nathan Rourke comes on again. Lovely day at the X. Do you think Milt Stegall will mind that I was eating his donuts there at Tiny Tom's? I don't know if he keeps counting the bag. I'll have to get him later.
I think he's happy you're happy.
When did Milton last touch a donut? One of the traditions here at the CNE. Here we are, second quarter, BC. Third possession, and that play is going nowhere. Benji Franklin and Darius Pratt. His first year with the Argos in on that play.
When you have a team that moves the ball so well offensively, and you have a quarterback who executes second down so well to get first downs, you're going to see a lot of different things. And that's what you're facing as a defensive coordinator and Kevin Ivan against Buck Pearson's system, because they get a lot of first downs. So you just saw that. That was a misdirection speed sweep. They've gone tempo. They've gone empty, which is which is nobody in the backfield. And they've done so many different things because they're getting a lot of first downs. So that's what's very difficult when you got a team that's moving the ball so well.
Loss by Stanley Berryhill of 4 yards on that play. Rourke throwing, got deflected. A high throw, and would have been another opportunity for the Argo defense, but as it stands, they'll certainly take it because that's a 2-and-out by BC. Their first, of course, after scoring touchdowns in their first quarter possession.
Middle of field. You see Sluka right there on the digs on the underneath. Ball's a little bit high up in the air. Can't get it to Hatcher. A good stop by. It starts with the negative yardage play to force second and extra. Good stop by the Toronto Argonauts defense, creating a negative yardage play on first down.
Carl Meyer to punt it away for the first time with Janarian Grant back. And a good punt chases him back down to the 12. Coverage is there too after a 62-yard punt. Great work by Jackson Finley on special teams again. He slowed him up and then got another chance at him. And he takes Janarian Grant down. BMO Field at the X, the CNE. Nice caricature.
Nice.
Don't miss an unprecedented all-access look at one of the NFL's top teams. Hard Knocks Training Camp with the Buffalo Bills. An HBO original docuseries is now streaming only on Crave. And hey, I like the Bills, I do, but I can't read with the kind of emotion Marshall Ferguson did last night.
I said, yeah, when I did the game last night, I said, oh, you're a little biased there, Marshall.
Not hiding his love for the Buffalo Bills. Very popular team in Southern Ontario as well. Argo football added 3 the last time they had it. And that's Spencer Brown, the leading running back in the history of the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and getting his chance now with the Argos with the injury to Deontay McMahon. Micah Awe, CFL's leading tackler, in on that play.
You can see multiple personnel. Mike Awe makes that tackle. He's coming off the field now. So they're doing multiple packages. The back end defense coordinator Mike Benavides, so they can put a lot more defensive backs on the field. That's why you saw Jackson Finley on the field on the last play, but run stoppage on 1st and 10 again.
Nothing there. 2nd and 10. Here's Arbuckle throwing off to the left. That is caught past midfield and a first down. That's Dejon Brissett with the catch. And with some good coverage there, Deontay Williams is the one to take him down.
Deontay Williams was in position to make the play. Brissett just out-jumps him for the football. High points it, sees it into his hands. Argos going tempo.
Gain of 43. Here comes Toronto now in the Lion zone, completing that one as well. It's Brissett again. Back-to-back catches for him, and looks like another first down for Toronto.
Quick throw on the outside on a little what you call speed out cut. You just got to read the corner on the outside. If he lifts, you throw it outside. Brissett takes it upfield for another first down on first down. Now they're no huddle play, so the Argos are trying to change up their timing and their speed.
Taking a page out of the Lions book here, the way they looked in the first quarter. Working fast. Arbuckle completes that one too. Bouncing off and tackles Mittal. Great work, Kevin Mittal, and a second effort that gets another first down, approaching the BC 20.
strength of Mattel. You've seen Mattel already in this game get a speed sweep. The beauty of him at the number 3 receiver right here, his strength and his ability, his balance to break tackles.
Faking the handoff, rolling to the right, and incomplete. Intended there for Unger, the closest one to it. So 2nd down and 10 coming up at the BC 25.
Not sure if this is a mistake or not, because the end blocks out and then Nick pulls the football. Normally the end would be blocking down and inside, and you read that, but as he pulls it, he's got nowhere to go because the end would block out right onto the end and put him in a difficult position.
Argos trailing by 8, but in scoring position now, down to the 25 of BC. 2nd quarter, 2nd down now. Got a shotgun and looking and completing another to Mattel, who turns around. More good effort trying to get to the 1st down mark, and he gets awfully close again, close to the Lions 15. It's like 3rd and inches here.
As the underneath coverage works away to the wide side of the field, Mattel's inside, throw it inside out, throw the inside receiver before anything else can happen.
They quickly get up over the ball again and go short yardage to pick up that 1st down.
You can see 3 different players coming in for the BC line, so there is a defensively, so there is a lot of substitution between 1st down and 2nd down going on here.
Down to the 14. That's Spencer Brown again, cutting back. Last one was going nowhere. He might have picked up a yard there as he cut it back, but good work against the run. Patrice Rene, the nickel linebacker, in on that tackle.
And this is what's going to frustrate you as an offensive coordinator, or myself as an offense coordinator. You have good numbers to block people, but you don't get a hat on a hat. You have extra people coming in, and now you're sitting once again at 2nd and 10. So you do talk about being balanced, make sure you run the football, but if you spend the entire game in 2nd and 8, 9, 10 plus, you're going to have to start throwing the football.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Arbuckle to the right, incomplete. Unger wants a flag, and he's got one. Patrice Rene was in on the coverage down around the 5, and the flag gets thrown for interference.
Patrice Rene gets called. Unger is going to come out of the backfield, and he's going to start to run this way, and then Patrice Rene's in a chase position, but then he breaks across. This is called an angle route. When Unger breaks back across his face, he holds up. That's going to be a penalty every time. So the Toronto Argonauts trying to release
Pass
Unger.
interference. BC number 24. It's an automatic 1st down.
They're releasing Unger out of the backfield, and that's great because it puts Patrice Rene in a difficult position to trying to cover this. This is actually, I think, a choice route out of the backfield with the slot. So now he's in a one-on-one situation. You're always trying to break back inside to the middle of the field. Rene gets the hold.
And then put the ball down at the 6. It's a 1st and goal coming up here for Toronto. 10th play of the drive. So the Argos chipping back. The way BC started this game so explosively. A little discussion with Tim Croker for the Lions head coach Buck Pierce. But the Argos, their best shot yet at getting into the end zone after a couple of field goals. Perhaps an opportunity to tie this game on this drive.
Patrice Rene is in here talking about he didn't hold. I'm not really sure if I agree with that. He's trying to look for.
Challenge flag thrown there by Buck Pierce.
BC is challenging the previous play for pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
Okay.
As Rene continues to plead his case, let's have another look at what happened between him and Unger.
So this is a good call when you have man coverage. You put your athletic receiver, you put him in the backfield, and then he can run out and now try to have an option to go in, out, upfield, and that's what he's doing. Starts to show that I'm going out, and then he breaks inside. I guess Patrice René is trying to say I just put my hand on him and he fell down, that it wasn't my fault.
Well, that's the thing. Was this contact strong enough to cause Ungerer to lose his balance? I think that's René's argument here. Was that enough, or did Ungerer fall largely on his own?
I don't think this would be overturned.
Clearly contact from René's right hand. Replay center has a look.
Stands. BC, by challenging it and losing his challenge, has lost the timeout. Second down.
So the Lions do lose the challenge.
First down.
And it is a first and goal. BC losing the timeout. And Toronto has it first and goal at the Lions 6.
Patrice should have stayed in the huddle. Keep him away from the coaches. Keep away. Take the penalty. Live to play another down.
To no avail. So here comes Toronto. 6-yard line. Empty backfield. Arbuckle quickly off to the right. Caught by Mittal, who's hit immediately there by Robert Carter Jr. Gets it down just inside the 4, and a second and goal coming up.
Argo's trying to get a pick play into the boundary, but the defense for the Red Blacks recognize it and pass it off. And what does that mean? The outside player switches, so he's in better position. And you can see that happen on Robert Carter there. Recognized, I'm not going to get picked. They find a way to pass all those routes off. Carter, nice stop.
Spotting it closer, just outside the 2-yard line. A second and goal Toronto. 8 points down. Looking to throw again or take off and score. Touchdown, Nick Arbuckle. Looked for a moment like he was looking to pass. Saw an opening and he took it. And the Argos are 2 points away from tying this game.
Quarterback draw. So what happens is you read this player. He leaves. You have numbers to run the quarterback draw. So this is a quarterback draw. Nick sees the linebacker leave. Nobody in the middle of the field. So it's a RPO with a quarterback draw with a swing screen. Good execution. Great call down here. Quarterback runs are excellent this side of the field.
Second rushing touchdown for Nick Arbuckle this season. Of course, they'll go for 2 to tie the score. And it's Spencer Brown getting into the end zone. 2 more points for the Argos. And Brown making an impact with his new team. And Toronto was down. They've come back with 11 unanswered points. Halfway through the second quarter, we get a tie ball game thanks to this. Nick Arbuckle taking it in.
We got a tie game here at the X. 11-play, 91-yard drive. Bichon Brissett with this huge gain to start. With a little bit of underneath stuff. Kevin Mittal making people miss too and on some catches, breaking tackles. A couple no-huddle plays. And then a quarterback draw to seal it, get it in. Plus the 2-point gives us a 14-14 game. Great response by the Toronto Argonauts. We talked about this, Rod. You got to slow down the BC Lions offense. How do you do it? Stay on the field. 11-play drive, 5 minutes off the clock.
They did a great job of that, Lapo. It seems like an eternity since we've seen Nathan Rourke, who's 8 for 10 for over 100 yards passing. But yeah, he's been on the sideline for a long time. Getting ready to come on again now. Seven McGee on the return. The spin gets it up to around the 34. So the damage done in the first quarter with 2 touchdown drives for Nathan Rourke. But yeah, it's been a while. Different game now too, all even at 14. Rourke was injured back in the second game for BC. 7 weeks ago he came back, and look at his numbers since, averaging over 350 yards passing, Lapo, per game since coming back.
Part of that's got to be, he comes back after the injury, but he's got more time in Buck Pierce's system. And the other thing, Buck Pierce, a new play caller for Nathan, so trying to figure out what he's good at and understand. Nathan is a sponge talking to Buck. He loves the game, talking football, going through his reads. So just giving him opportunities to work together is real important.
And coming back to the football is Justin McInnes, another completion for Nathan Rourke, and a first down for BC up around their own 49.
CFL play, get a waggle, run a player underneath. You read this player. If he runs under, you have a one-on-one. Go ahead and roll it, guys. As the corner runs underneath, you throw the ball to the wide side of the field. See, there's nobody out there. Too much field to cover for the field halfback. Great located throw. Easy first down.
From the 49 now, and handing off to James Butler. He is a touchdown in this game. Capped off their second drive back in the first quarter, and he works it way up for about 5 yards. Second down coming up for BC.
Crowd I've heard in a while here, Rod. This is a good crowd today for the X.
Well, the Argos said they were expecting their biggest crowd since 2018. That's a great idea to mix it in with the X. I believe people buying tickets, getting a free pass in to the exhibition grounds here, and enjoy their day afterward. Here's Rourke. Flags out as he takes off. Up and running and inside the 40. A good run here for Nathan Rourke. It's Cameron Judge tracking him down, finally taking him out inside the Argo 25. As mentioned, flags were thrown as he dropped back.
Procedure, no end. BC. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Negates a 27-yard run by Nathan Rourke because of no end, the procedure call, and that all comes back.
We're getting multiple of these procedure calls the last couple of weeks, and to understand on the field, like the 5 offensive linemen, they have to be covered by 2 eligible receivers, one on each side of the football. If you don't have that, you're going to draw the penalty. So they didn't have a wide receiver on the end now on the scrimmage. See the frustration from Pierce there.
So back to the original line of scrimmage at their own 49 and a 2nd and 10. And that penalty quickly throwing, intercepted Argos. Benji Franklin has it. Can they catch him there? Franklin takes it into the end zone for a Toronto touchdown. Nathan Rourke is picked. Benji Franklin gets 6.
This is film study. Benji Franklin knowing what's coming. He sits on the route and then undercuts it and makes the play. And he's got great hands to the football to make the catch. Catches it in stride, runs it back for the touchdown. It's exactly what you need for your defense. BC Lions, a lot of takeaways this season. A lot of takeaways, have turned the ball over a ton this season, and that's the type of takeaways they need for the Argos on defense.
7th interception of the season thrown by Nathan Rourke. And that's the 3rd interception of the year for Benji Franklin, who certainly has a flair for it. His own exhibition of coverage. Taking that ball and taking it in, and Lirimirelau with a point after 2. So the BC Lions, who at one point led 14-3 and looked briefly unstoppable, see this game tilt drastically the other way with the Argos in front.
Both are going vertical. He's going to come underneath, but Benji Franklin must have known this because he's backing up, but he's really not going to see him watching the whole time. Sometimes these corners, they're going to be backpedaling, but they're really watching the quarterback's eyes. He was watching Nathan Rourke's eyes the whole time. Nathan Rourke doesn't see it. There's the pick 6. BC Lions, 25 giveaways this season. That's their 25th, 8th in the Canadian Football League. That's how Toronto gets back into this football game, by taking the football away from this high-powered offense that tends to turn the ball over.
Remember the great playoff Benji Franklin had last year on this field against Ottawa in the East semifinal. Had an interception for a touchdown, and then early in Montreal in the Eastern final, had another pick 6, and he came up with one as well. An interception in the Grey Cup of Zach Collaros. Memorable playoffs. Not a memorable season for the Argos collectively, but it's a big one today when they desperately need a win, and now they lead it by 7. 18 unanswered points for Toronto with Lirimirelau to kick it off, and suddenly it's the Lions in this first half in a hole. 7 McGee at the 12. Good return here for 7 McGee. At midfield, McGee is was still going and finally tripped up down around the 35 of the Argos by Brian Haralamana. Yeah, 7 was looking for 6 of his own, but no, still, Rourke got back on in great shape for the Lions offense.
7 takes it vertically up the field, bounces in, and then just gets a nice move to the outside. Good blocking. And vertical press, make the kicker miss. Excellent play by 7 McGee. Perfect name, Rod. And number 77.
The youngest of 7 kids.
Youngest of 7 kids.
And you have that many kids, you're 7. With 6 sisters, I believe. 7 McGee. Longest return of the season, 61 yards for BC. See if they can cash in on that and turn the momentum back in their favor. That big return should certainly help back on the ground to James Butler on that first down play.
Do you think if 7 McGee was a punter, he'd be called 3 McGee?
Or a kicker, you mean?
Yeah, kicker, punter.
Yeah.
Punter would be single McGee.
It would be single, yeah. Be 1. He's been asked many times about that name given to him, 7 McGee. Second and 9 after the 1-yard pickup by Butler. To Rourke. Kind of settled down. Knocked away, though. And this Argo defense is really standing up. On that, it's Anthony Lanier who knocked it down, and then taking it all the way back is Hood, who gets tackled. We saw flags out earlier. Eberhard making the tackle on Hood, but it was Anthony Lanier getting his hands up on that Nathan Rourke pass.
Take a look at what this flag is. I think it's Andrew Chatfield. I think he pushed Nathan Rourke after the pass. Take a look right.
Major foul right there. Passer. Corner number 94. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Inside move on the spin. Yeah, you just can't do that. Like, you just, as you're landing, you should just grab on and hold. Just get a piece of him and hold on to him. You just can't. He looks frustrated that he didn't get home. He's going to take a hit. Difficult penalty for Chatfield to take.
Well, that deflection at the line by Lanier, all for naught now for the Argos. BC gets the penalty yardage down to the Toronto 20, and a first down coming up here for the Lions. Chatfield, their sacks leader, but taking a penalty there, and Greg Marshall having a little discussion with him about that.
Defensive line coach Greg Marshall actually was the first to bring up Chatfield to come over to the Argos as when he was named the D-line coach, and he saw a lot of free agent defensive linemen going. Greg says, hey, this young kid in Ottawa is pretty good. Andrew Chatfield, good signing. Very good signing for the Argos last year.
Lions down 7. Trying to get momentum back to take the Butler. The throw. It is caught by Katoy. Hops into the end zone for the BC touchdown. And another one for big Javon Katoy. Great work after the catch as well to elude the tackle and tiptoe into the end zone.
Understanding what to do. I'm going to show you what happens here. The end's going to crash, but the linebacker's going to do what's called gap exchange. He's going to try to slow up the quarterback. But watch Nathan Rourke, how quickly he knows, I got to get the ball out of my hands. Gets it to Katoy with plenty of time for Katoy to make people miss. Nice acrobatics around the sideline by Katoy. But I love the throw, how quickly it happened from Nathan before the wraparound linebacker got to him.
3 plays, 36 yards after that great return by 7 McGee. And Javon Katoy has 2 catches, 30 yards. Those 2 catches for touchdowns.
And you just can't get the penalty. You know, you had him off the field. You get this penalty, and you just don't want to give this offense more opportunities.
Well, Kate, the panel on site here at the X, enjoying the food, but they got to go to work soon. The Lions got back to work on offense. We got a tie ball game. 3-minute warning, 2:53 on the clock till halftime.
Doesn't get much better than a tie football game. Coming up at the half, we give a little love to Benji Franklin, Javon Katoy, and the boys don't want to challenge me in any other events because I have so many stuffed animals that I won. Milton, look what I won. Look what I won, Milton. Nope.
Nice. Kate 3-0 versus the panel.
She needs other challenges. I guess if they're not up for it, you and I after this game, they have to head down. take Burness on. They're around here too for part 2 of the doubleheader, by the way, and a big one, Saskatchewan and Calgary later for McMahon at TSN. Tie ball game, Janarian Grant works his way outside, trying to turn that corner, but coming in with a great tackle there on special teams is Deontay Williams.
Great physicality by Deontay coming down, and that's the hard part. Sometimes when you go, the wide side of the field looks really good always on kickoff returns until you start getting there because the cavalry's coming. There's so much space. They can run you down. Deontay Williams uses speed, physicality to make the stop on Janarian Grant.
The big return, 7 McGee helped set up BC's tying touchdown.
6 McGee.
Yeah, McGee, 7. Didn't get his 6, but he helped set that up. And then with the conversion, set up 7 by 7. Taking the handoff to Brown and throwing that in tight coverage. Beaulieu coming in on Jake Herslow. Does get it across the 30 and picks up a couple of yards for the Argos. Second and no, they're saying incomplete. Excuse me, and it's a second down and 10 coming up.
Christophe Beaulieu's had a really nice season. Second-year player out of Laval, 1 interception, 24 tackles. Close to the box. They kind of rotate him in certain areas where he's close to the box. Patrice Renee is another one that's had his 3rd start at the nickel spot. So a couple national players doing good things.
Second and 10. Arbuckle with the pressure coming. But he does manage to get rid of it, and he completes it to Jake Herslow, too. Good work by Arbuckle under all of that pressure for a first down as they get it up around the 48. And limping is Arbuckle after that play.
Hard count by the Argos. Deontay Williams is coming off the edge
Offside,
of the
BC number 9. Penalties declined as the gain is greater. First down.
There's a twist that happens. That Nick, once he sees the free player on the twist, he's got to climb the pocket, hits Herslow the underneath. Every time I see Jake Herslow make a catch, he just looks like he's playing faster than other guys. So he's impressive to watch.
We know he can hurdle.
And we know he can jump over people, yes.
Best hurdle of the season a few weeks ago against Ottawa on this field. Arbuckle, we saw him limping earlier, but in there to run this play and throw it quickly and complete it too. Just across midfield for the Argos. Dejon Brissett again.
Nick's strength is seeing pictures before the ball snapped, throwing the ball out quickly, get a 7-yard gain. Throw the uncontested hitch, what you call free access. If you got a hitch out there and there's nobody low, take the hitch all day.
So a second and short from the 53. Running it to Spencer Brown. The run into the end zone for the 2-point conversion the last time the Argos had the ball, and that's enough for a first down. Approaching the Lions 45, down around the 47 of BC. Or 40, excuse me. Yeah, 47-yard line. And the Argos in a tie ball game before this half comes to an end, looking for some more points. Caught inside the 40. That's David Unger.
Very good rhythm here by Arbuckle here, understanding the one-on-one, takes the throw outside to David Unger. Got a one-on-one matchup on the outside. You're talking to Nick early in the year. He had so much trust in David Unger, like from his preparation, from all the work they did together. They're in the meeting rooms talking all the time, and all the extra work they always did. He's really enjoyed playing with him, somebody that he trusts to be able to play any spot in their system.
I'll tell you, too, Lapo, Nick Arbuckle continues to rack up the passing yardage. He's 17 of 22, 196 yards passing. He scored a touchdown on the ground. He's in there in short yardage now, too. Keeping it first down and more, and he just slides after getting it and around the 32. So Arbuckle, an impressive display. And a good day for offense in this one between the Lions and Argonauts.
He's got a very good feel, and I think 2 things. I think Ryan Dimwitty has a good understanding what Nick's strengths are, and calls a good game for him. And Nick is a very intelligent quarterback. I spent time working with him in my time in Ottawa. Understands systems and scheme, and I think they work well together. And Ryan's calling the things he does very well.
Came into this game with more than 3,000 yards passing this season. on this first down. He's off to the left, wide open. Personal inside the 20. Tackled there at about the 18 by Ronald Kent Jr. But still, the sticks move again. Another impressive drive here for the Argos.
A couple blitzers off the backside. Before the blitzers can get there, Nick takes the field throw to Herslow on the outside. BC Lions trying to do a little bit of pressure. Voided an area. Herslow found the area. So did Nick.
1:14 in the clock until halftime. 21-21. Argos pressing to take the lead again. They were down 14-3 at one point, but then came storming back, including a pick six by Benji Franklin. Toss pass inside to Herslow on the sweep, and he spins and works his way down to the 15. Second down coming up.
I'm going to show you what happens here. This is a misdirection run. Everybody's going this way, and you expect your defensive end to go that way. The ball's going to be thrown this way with everybody showing that direction. You can see here, you flip it on a chest pass. Well, we missed it, but we flip it on the chest pass and it goes the other way. Argos going tempo is not allowing me to do replays. They do not want me to show the wrong way run.
You know, that's the consequence of a tempo offense. It's hard to get those replays in. Arbuckle try to kill the line. Mittal, touchdown, and another touchdown pass for Nick Arbuckle.
We came into this game talking about protection, Ron. The protection's been better on this drive. Nick's had to scramble a little bit, but great protection here for this touchdown.
First touchdown pass thrown for Arbuckle in this game, but that's his 18th on the season, and that has given Toronto the lead with halftime only a few seconds away.
And the best thing about this drive, 33 seconds left. You can still get points. This is a good, took time off the clock in the second quarter from the Lions.
Ira Lahu. They had an 11-play touchdown drive before. That one 9 plays, 82 yards in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Arbuckle to Mittal.
You have one under, you have one over, and I believe there's one on a deep. I think it's the third route. And if you watch, the safety starts to go jump the underneath route. Once he jumps the underneath route, they've got nobody in the middle of the field. Nick's reading it deep to short. He's able to get that throw for the touchdown. Great drive by the Argonauts. Great protection on the last couple of plays.
Kevin Mittal, who had a touchdown for the Argos in the Grey Cup last November in Vancouver, has his third touchdown catch of this season. He's in his second year out of Laval, and he was their first pick in the draft of 2024.
Strong lower body, physical. You can see how much they like him by how many different ways they try to get Mittal the ball throughout the course of the game.
Can anyone challenge Burness at the X? That's one of the questions that has to be dealt with at halftime with Enoch and Dave Naylor on the panel, along with Milt Stegall. Enjoying the festivities, enjoying the food, I'm sure. Like a full report of the fried chicken crunch ice cream sandwich. Diet version, of course.
We got to get rid of these donuts. I'm always trying to eat them while we're on the air.
Halftime's coming up, my friend. Just seconds away. What a game we have. And it looked like the Lions were just going to take off on the double blue. Toronto's done a very good job since then, and they lead at 28-21. 27 ticks on the clock. The Lions starting at the 31, and see if Rourke can work them fast enough to give Sean White a chance to at least get 3 points on the board before they head to the dressing room.
And you started after 2 series of this game. You thought this game was going to be over. And for some teams, especially when you're on the road, when you just get a big lead, some teams, it gets in their head, and they just kind of, they're not playing as hard. They're not doing the things they need to do, and all of a sudden, home team brings it right back, and that's what Toronto's done.
And no such thought as well of trying to work it down for a field goal as Rourke just takes a knee. His numbers looking impressive as well, especially those 2 straight drives in the first quarter, 10 of 13, 144.
Too many players. Toronto, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, they took a knee, and they still are going to advance by penalty, and too many men against Toronto. But to the point you made, Lapo, earlier, the biggest defense that Toronto's had against Nathan Rourke
declined, and the clock will run.
is sustaining long drives, keeping them off the field.
Yeah, and you saw in the last 2 plays, you saw one of the last plays that they huddled up, ran a play. You say, well, wait, it's the end of the game. Why are they going with it? Why aren't they no huddling? Because they want to take more time off the clock. So if they do score, they don't give the BC Lions high-powered offense one more opportunity. You see that happen right now.
The Argos have had possession over 18 minutes of the 30. By the way, the Lions just declined that penalty. They just want to take a knee and regroup after that great start at halftime. Rourke does it again. 4 seconds. Ticking down now. Let's run one more play. Then we'll head to our panel. Great to have them on site.
Great video. That's a great shot.
With the X in the background, and lots to talk about in this game alone. Not to mention the one coming up after between the Riders and Stampeders for the top of the West. But how about Nick Arbuckle? Understandably, we hyped up Nathan Rourke and the way he's played, but great performance by Arbuckle in this first half.
A lot of misdirection, a lot of good plays. Hey, underneath throws, a couple of deep shots, but I think the receivers are playing great for him, making difficult catches. That one by Ungerer. Natal's made some nice plays himself. Arbuckle using his legs when he needs to get the out, and really good opportunities. And they got close, finished with touchdowns. Quarterback draw right there. He is competing with Nathan Rourke. Stride for stride, play for play. You see that one in the towel. So, hey, really good things. They got to keep this going. Defensively, they just can't, don't forget, Rob, they took a penalty that led one of the touchdowns on defense. Chatfield got a penalty. So they're right in this game, obviously doing what they need to do with the lead 28-21.
Well, you look at his numbers, 20 of 25, so 80%, 229 yards. That touchdown pass late in the first half. And he has scored one on the ground as well. And that's a live look as he's still going over the tablet. And finally, we're waiting for him to head up and talk about this first half with Matthew Shinetti. But we got some details to go over before he even heads to the dressing room. Here we go, Matthew.
Well, what details did you see? This game has been offense, offense, offense on your part. What were you and quarterback coach Mike Miller just talking about there?
Just that last drive. Didn't get a chance to really talk too much about it coming off. So just look at, we've had so many long drives. It's hard to get through all the film and see all their looks and plays. So we've been having to go back on other drives just to see what we missed and didn't get a chance to talk about.
But I imagine those long drives are key, especially knowing the explosive offense that you're facing on the other side. To keep them off the field also benefits you guys putting points on the board.
Yeah, that's been a huge part of our plan to make sure we convert second downs. We can't have 2 and outs. Our bad drives have to be changing field position, getting our defense a rest, getting their offense off the field. Even if we don't score points, we need to move the ball.
Appreciate this, Nick.
Appreciate you guys.
Well, Kate, what a game we have. 28-21. The Argos are up 7. But the more exciting thing, you being undefeated and those 3 stuffies on the panel.
Well, you know what, Matthew? I'm actually going to give this one to Nick Arbuckle. I think his performance in the first half there was more impressive than my performance at the CNA. Back alongside Enoch Bawaba, Dave Naylor, and Milt Stiegel, and we've got ourselves a great football game here. And look, in the beginning of this game, it looked like it was going to be all BC Lions, but the Toronto Argonauts have come right back in this one, and it is in large part to one Nick Arbuckle, 229. He's got 1 TD. He's got 1 rushing TD as well. And I love how he was picking apart some things there before the interview ended. But honestly, he's been fantastic, and they just need to continue what they're doing right now, Dave.
Yeah, he has been. And really, this game rests on Nick Arbuckle's arm. I mean, you look at this. The Argonauts, they're kind of a one-dimensional team from the start of every game. They average less than 50 yards rushing per game. So far in the first half, they've got 17 yards from their running backs on 8 carries. So with DeMonte Coxey out of the game, the deep ball has not been there as much for Nick Arbuckle, so he's going to have to earn this win for the Argonauts, doing exactly what he's doing. Nickel and diamond down the field. You look at, he's going mostly to the outside. They're giving him space. He's finding receivers, 9 yards, 12 yards, 7 yards. It's a hard way to win a football game when the other team has a really strong run game, and we know what Nick Arbuckle, or what Nathan Rourke can do with the deep ball, but so far Nick Arbuckle's been up to the task.
Yeah, and coming into this game, I didn't expect it to be like this. I didn't expect Nick Arbuckle to outplay Nathan Rourke, but shout out to Ryan Dinwiddie, what he's been able to do with Nick Arbuckle, but also defensively. Coming into this game, I also said they're going to need some stops. Well, they got more than the stop. They got a turnover for a touchdown, and that goes a long way with helping your team win this game. This is their biggest crowd. There's a momentum swing. You saw the fans get into it, so shout out for Benjamin Franklin getting his 3rd interception of the year. That's exactly what they need. Of course, they need to come out and have some more stops, because when you do that, you give more opportunities for your offense to get on the field and make some plays. So this team is in a good position right now. I don't think anyone outside of their organization thought this team would be up by 7 points coming out of the halftime. So they have the momentum. It'll be interesting to see what they do when they come out in the second half.
That's the best part of the CFL. I mean, we all sat here as the panel before, and I think we all agreed the way the BC Lions and Nathan Rourke had been playing that basically this could be a complete romp, and it's completely opposite right now. We just talked about Benji Franklin and the game-changing play that he had. When it comes to the BC Lions, though, too, I mean, you watch Nick Arbuckle run in on quarterback sneak for a touchdown, and you're like, no, this is not going to work. What do the Lions defense need to do in the second half, Enoch?
Well, they need to play better up front, Kate. I'm looking for Coach Benavidez to come up in the second half. They're going to have to put a little bit more pressure on Nick Arbuckle. He's been a little bit comfortable. Dave, you talk about nickeling and diming. Well, you got to tighten up the defense. The DB's got to get a little closer, but there's got to be more pressure. You're talking about Betts. You talk about Tehama. They got to be able to get to the quarterback and Nick Arbuckle. But also, you look at the whole first half, there's no defensive line sacks. The only sack came from Deontay Williams. It was the blitz from a halfback position. So I'm looking to see more of that coming into the second half. But they also have, to like your point, Milt, they have to get their hands on footballs, because we often talk about Nathan Rourke making plays. The defense got to come through for them tonight.
They certainly do. By the way, too, you mentioned the fans here. We got fans all around us right now, and they are loving it. And I'll tell you this is the largest regular season game for the Toronto Argonauts since 2018. So nice job, Argo fans. Nice job. We love being at BMO Field. And as mentioned, we got a heck of a football game. They still love Enoch. Enoch's going to cry, guys.
That's why he has on those glasses.
I need a trophy to cry, Kate.
Well, it's time to come clean. I didn't win at every single CNE event. Milton Stiegel did win in the Pop-A-Shot. You did, even though it was rigged.
Oh, it was rigged.
It was completely rigged.
It was rigged. Okay.
Oh, Enoch is. I've seen Enoch shoot on these before, but look at him.
Enoch can't shoot.
No, the rims were
Milton, we
too.
going to real hoop.
The basketball,
You're going down.
The basketball was obviously bigger than the rim itself. All right, so it's a CNE, and you know that we have to try the food. Milton, did you order all of this? I heard you ordered. This is hot dog sushi here.
I'm getting curls in with this right here. God.
What do we got here?
That is
Enoch?
heavy.
Some fries.
Enoch, what's in that soda?
I don't know what it is, man.
Don't
Non-alcoholic.
get yourself in trouble like we did in Calgary right now. Now we're serving up something delicious here. And by the way, I'm going to give this to the fans. All the fans want this. I'll give it to you guys after. Don't worry. But obviously the game of the week, when you look at it, had to be Saskatchewan and Calgary, Dave. But we might have the game of the week right now, but still looking forward to the second half of our doubleheader.
Yeah, I think we anticipate this as being not maybe just the game of the week, but maybe one of the games of the year. When you look at the strength on strength of this, with the Calgary Stampeders having the #1 defense in the CFL, the Saskatchewan Roughriders with the #1 offense, but they're both good on both sides of the ball. And you got to go back to July 12th. The only blemish on the Saskatchewan Roughriders record this season was losing at home to the Calgary Stampeders. Of course, Calgary has, I think, been the surprise team of the year. They want to show they're the #1 team in the West. I think this is a preview of a Western Final, perhaps.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right, Dave. It's going to be a showdown for sure. And you talk about the guys that are coming back. Damon Alford, first overall pick for Vernon Adams Jr. It's extremely important. He's got to get going. Clark Barnes
had a big game the last time these two faced
Absolutely.
each other. Yeah.
So how are you going to fare with Roland Milligan and Tavon Campbell in the bang?
Trevor Harris and Vernon Adams Jr. That's who I'm looking at. These two MOP candidates. Going to have great games. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Looking forward to it.
I'm watching the Moose. The Moose is on the loose.
The Moose is on the loose.
Baby. By the way, for the Riders, they are 8-1. The last time they were 8-1, you know what happened. Milt, I'm not eating that. That's a 2-foot-long hot dog.
Gosh.
Milt, I will.
That's too big of a.
You know what? Bring it back to Milt. I'm going to give him $200. Do it. Do it.
Don't do it.
to someone on. Give it to someone up there. You wouldn't do it, Milt. You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Halftime in Toronto. Hey, we had a hunch there would be offense, but a little surprising how much the Argos and Nick Arbuckle have been racking up, especially in the passing game. As for BC, Javon Catoy accounts for 2 of their 3 touchdowns on 2 catches, and here he is with Matthew.
Javon, what's the mindset now coming out of the locker room, knowing you're pretty much in a shootout for the second half?
Yeah, man, we just got to clean up the little details, you know, all 3 phases. We trust the game plan that coach has put in all week. We just got to make sure we're doing our 112 at every single position.
To that point, knowing that they've had some extended drives, does that maybe have to be part of the game plan? If they're trying to keep you off the field by staying on the field as long as they can, maybe you guys fight fire with fire?
Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight for the next 30 minutes here. Toronto's a great team. The record doesn't show whatever's been going on this season. They won the Grey Cup last year, so we know that coming in. We respect them as a good team. We just got to make sure we clean up the little details.
Thank you for this.
Appreciate it. I just want to say shout out to my mom watching back home in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I love you.
Appreciate that. Love it.
Mom be very proud of what Javon Catoy has been doing in this one. 2 catches, 30 yards, but 2 touchdowns. And BC, they had the lead at one point 14-3, and the Argos came back, including an interception for a touchdown. So the Lions trail by 7 to start the second half, but they get the ball. Seven McGee, his last kickoff return was a really good one, of 61 yards. And he has an additional burst here. Not bad by McGee. What a good return to get them further up at the 46 to get things started. We're talking about Javon Catoy. Here's a sample. It's a small sample, but a very powerful one.
3 targets, 2 catches, 30 yards, nice touchdown. Really good tightrope on this play right here for this touchdown. Flips, bounces over, gets the ball in over. Right, big-bodied receiver, can do a lot in the front game. Crucial to this team's success, having a national big player like that.
Well, surprising how little BC has run the ball, but they do to start here, and that's the best carry for James Butler, the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League, who didn't have much, just 26 yards in the first half, but a good carry there for a first down.
I believe this is a pin and pull scheme where one comes around, one steps, blocks down, and one pulls around. Yep, they pull around, and then as Cameron Judge goes to play contain, guard kicks him out, creates a crease. Nice move inside by Butler. One cut north-south, first down on first down.
We'll see if they try to possess the clock a little bit more as well and continue to move the ball and run more. Faking that time, dumping it off to Keon Hatcher. He had a big catch to start the game of 30 yards and a big one there. 2 plays, BC working fast again to start the second half.
So I'll say this. You know, this is a nice throw. Faking a run. Keon Hatcher's in the backfield right here, and then he's going to come across. Right, but the point I want to make about like staying, holding on to the ball, this or that, you know, some teams don't really care about time of possession. Like when you score touchdowns every play, I'll go to Chip Kelly, who I worked with years ago, who was a no huddle tempo guy.
You'll take those 3-play drives.
Like, yeah, hey, we score on 4 plays, which BC Lions had 2 5-play drives that scored touchdowns. I don't care the time of possession. We just keep scoring. And they've got to make sure they just don't turn the ball over, right? I know that Toronto has done a nice job with an 11-play drive. 11-play drive. I think they had 2 of them in the second quarter. But for the BC Lions, I don't care how much your time possession, just keep scoring. Keep making plays and keep it uncomfortable for the defense.
Well, their 2 touchdown drives in that first quarter were only 5 plays. They worked quickly. And yes, the Argos drives, longer, slower, more methodical, but very effective. 11 plays and 9 plays. With the timeout called here, and with them down having it at the Argo 23. Very few plays run by Rourke and that Lion offense, and they're working their way right down the field. Starting this half, trailing by 7, when at one point they led by as many as 11. That's 1 turnover a game, very costly for BC. The pick 6 by Benji Franklin in the second quarter. Here's Rourke, 1st and 10. Throwing quickly again, caught down inside the 5. And look who it is again. Javon Catoy gets his third catch. Not a touchdown that time, but awfully close inside the 5. First and goal coming up here for BC.
Pass plays, linebackers expand. Catoy finds the zone in between the linebackers. That's Nathan's primary read. Sees it immediately. Ball out of his hands. Nice gain. Put the ball inside the 3-yard line.
Javon Catoy. What a game for him on just 3 catches. Came in with just over 400. In his 6th season under the Langley Juniors. A local product. Playing for the Lions and making a big contribution in this game. They are close to the end zone now. Trying to get in with a chance to tie the game. James Butler turns it up. But it's Jamin Pelly and Ricky Correa in there on the play to take Butler down after a yard.
Watch Ricky Correa. He stops this play right here. You got a big defensive tackle. What's he trying to do? Get into the line of scrimmage, trying to create a negative yardage play. They turn Butler back on the perimeter. Good stop by the Argos.
Be a great way for the Lions to start this second half, get in the end zone, and tie up this ball game with all these momentum swings. Nick Arbuckle of the Argos has been such a big story, so Nathan Rourke trying to counter that. Working fast. The pass, no. It was straight down at the 1 for Butler. Couldn't hang on. Tavares McFadden was right there to make contact as the ball arrived, but it is a big 3rd down now coming up for BC.
Tavares McFadden recognizes, you know, a lot of teams do a lot of motion and try to pick. They tried to get the back out in the backfield. Tavares McFadden left his receivers to come down, make a play. Even if this was a catch, this is not a touchdown. So Tavares McFadden, good recognition of what play is being, how they're being attacked and having an answer.
No thought of going for it here. They want the field goal, want some points to show. For this opening drive of the second half with Sean White in his first field goal attempt coming up in this ball game. Veteran White, 24 of 25 this season. 96% to lead the way. That's from the 10. And up and through. So the Argos still lead, but the Lions get the first points of the second half on the board with a White field goal. 4-point game. Nick Arbuckle. What a story he's been in this one so far. Passing for 229 yards in the first half. Getting the ball here for the second half now.
Great execution on defense. There's a lot of movement. Guys coming down, guys going up, and then eventually the running back's going to go out. This is a big bunch of squiggly lines. Think about playing defense. They've got to pass all these people off in man. Watch Tavares McFadden. He leaves his man to go take Butler out of the backfield. Even if this was a catch, this would have been held out of the end zone. Heads-up play, Tavares McFadden understanding what the team's trying to do today.
So the Argos hold the Lions to a field goal on that impressive opening drive of the second half. Toronto still leading by 4. Here's Nick Arbuckle. Fakes the handoff. He's throwing it deep. Caught. Brissett. And way down inside the 15. The ball came out after he was tackled. It's Argo football. And a huge first down in one play to get in scoring range all the way down to the 13 of BC and a 57-yard strike.
Play action pass, pulling people, and then having a shot deep to the middle of the field. Just runs by with speed. Safety's caught looking in the backfield. Safety saw the pulling guard, saw the running back. Good fake. Beaulieu gets caught up in that. Carter's in a tough position because he's outside leverage, but great throw by Nick Arbuckle.
And with that, 4 catches for 118 yards for Dejon Brissett. On the ground, Spencer Brown, who got into this game with the injury of Deontay McMahon, takes it inside the 10 on that first down play. Here come the Argos, still with a 4-point lead and threatening again.
Very aggressive second half play, trying to take advantage. Get some of those shots downfield. Spencer Brown, nice run here for 3 yards on an outside zone play. Put the ball inside the 10.
Mike Benavides and that Lions defense under a lot of heat right now, with the offense picking up the 24 points. But the Argos offense had something to say about this against BC's D. Here we go. Brown inside the 5. Had to get down to about the 4-yard line to get the first down, make it a 1st and goal. Looks like he's close to it.
Very similar play that they ran earlier in the game. Nick's going to take the throw on the outside as everybody trying to get the outflank, but once again, no different. BC Lions, wide side, halfbacks and corners recognize it, rally up and make the tackle. Great to see if this is a first or not. They're going to come out and measure. So scoring touchdowns has not been easy for the Toronto Argonauts in this area of the field. 8th in the CFL. They've only converted 57%, which is, yeah, would put them at 8th in the Canadian Football League.
So they're bringing the sticks on. They're going to measure this one very close by Brown on that 2nd down play.
First down or not, I expect them. They're going to go for it.
They got it. They got it. It's a 1st and goal, Argos. Answering right back after that field goal drive by BC. And they will have a 1st and goal from the Lions 3 to add to their lead. Spencer Brown in just his 2nd game as an Argonaut. Recently acquired. And taking on a bigger role now because of injury. At the University of Alabama, Birmingham. 6 carries, 13 yards. Did have a 2-point conversion as well in the first half. Gets the ball. 3-2-1. Touchdown Argos. Spencer Brown finds the end zone again. And this time it's for 6.
Misses the tackle on the outside zone play. Watch Spencer Brown. Matthew Betts makes an inside move. And if you're going to make an inside move, that you know the tailback will go outside. Doesn't make the tackle, so when you gamble going inside, you lose contain. Brown makes him pay.
And this time, the Argos talk about those long drives. Have a short one. 4 plays, 70 yards in 2.5 minutes. And just as the Lions are trying to get some momentum back in this game, there go the Argos. The point after from Lirim Hairolahu. And already early in the 2nd half, not even halfway through the 3rd quarter, 35 points on the board for Toronto. 293 yards passing for Nick Arbuckle. Making life difficult now for Nathan Rourke.
Right here. Hand's going to come up as Nathan's trying to hit Justin McInnes. Oh, it wasn't a D tackle. I think Chatfield made that play. Trying to hit McInnes in the middle of the field.
So now a 2nd and 10. Rourke. And the flag comes out. Whistle blows. Can't get that play off.
Time count violation. BC number 12. 5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
As announced by the referee Tim Croker, but
timer please put 8:03 on the
goes
clock.
from bad to worse for BC as they're pushed back 5 more yards in a 2nd and 15.
Obviously last week in the win against Montreal, BC had 12 penalties, 137 yards.
2nd and long. Rourke under pressure. They've got him. Down he goes in the sack. For Toronto's sacks leader, Andrew Chatfield. 1 off the league lead now. That's his 7th of the season.
He's at the top of your screen. I think there's more than just his speed rush. You've got Lanier wins inside, beats the center on the inside, beats Andrew Pearson. That forces quarterback to move to the right. Nathan's got to move to his right, and then Chatfield's right there to clean it up.
The Argos collectively are having arguably their best game of the season. Certainly offensively they are, and the defense, despite giving up some big plays earlier, has settled down and made life a lot tougher for Nathan Rourke with that sack from Chatfield. So they have an 11-point lead, and they get the ball back after that punt as Nathan Rourke is sacked halfway through the 3rd quarter. Dinwiddie has been very critical of his team these last 3 losses, Matthew. I think he must be liking this a bit more.
Well, he has to, given the fact that he basically called his team a bunch of pretenders the last time they were here at BMO Field. You'll remember they gave up a 22-1 lead to the Ottawa Redblacks, and then Dinwiddie had pointed comments for his team to the media right after. But when speaking to the Argos about their response to those comments, the one thing that they said undeniably was that they respected their coach for saying it to them first in the locker room and then going to the media. And when I asked Whit McManus what the response should be from everyone, he said it's lead, lead, lead. And I want to point out what Andrew Chatfield just did in that sack, because earlier in the first half, after he went ahead and had that rough the passer, Dinwiddie brought him over, coached him up really hard and told him, hey, listen, I believe in you. And you can see the response of the coach and his messaging in that sack, guys.
I was going to mention he must be encouraged as well by the play of the offensive line protecting Nick Arbuckle, although Arbuckle was just sacked there as BC gets him to set up a 2nd and long.
Early in this season, Ryan Dinwiddie had some comments for his football team after a loss, and his only concern is just what the players said. He's like, you know what, I should have talked to the players before I talked to the media about it. I apologized to them. I didn't change what I was talking about. I said I should have told them first.
Setting up a screen on the 2nd and 16 for Brown, who had a touchdown earlier. A little shoving after the fact, and that brings a flag out now. Couple of flags, as it would be a punting situation coming up here for the Argos.
And I think that's what has to happen for the BC Lions. You got to do something to help. Nick Arbuckle can scramble around, find opportunities to throw the ball downfield. Some of his throws have been off of 4-man rush. They find space. Nick Arbuckle scrambles around, gets a throw downfield, gets some pressure to him, force Nick to get the ball out of his hands quicker.
It looks like the right guard Anthony Vandal is down at the 25-yard line.
Toronto number 52 and BC number 2. They offset. It's 3rd down.
So a 3rd down coming up, but an injury in the offensive line by the looks of things for the Argos, as Anthony Vandal is getting some attention from the training staff. Look at the penalties.
Not really supposed to be grabbing on at that.
12-17 for 188 coming on, but if you look at Buck Pierce, and I wanted to ask you about this because I remember he was your starting quarterback with Winnipeg when you were their head coach in 2011. There's a nice embrace between two old friends, but also your success together in Winnipeg when you were the OC more recently and Buck was your quarterback coach.
Yeah, I've known Buck, I think, for, good Lord, since in 2010. We were fortunate enough to, I was coaching him as a quarterback. I thought he was a tremendous quarterback, just a great leader of men. The 4 years I got to work with him, 16 for 19, were amazing. Like, super individual. Players, cares about his players. Great X and O guy.
There's James Butler, another good carry for Butler in this second half as he works it up for a first down, gets it up to the 50. But to finish that thought about, I remember talking to him about you. He gave you a lot of credit for helping him as an offensive coordinator when you left to go to the Ottawa Redblacks. He took over, and it was like, didn't miss a beat in that Winnipeg offense. Throwing now is Rourke, wide open too, and stepping out of bounds is Keon Hatcher. And that's all the way up to about the 35 now of the Argos.
Good recognition here, understanding Hatcher's going to come up, one's going to come under. He's going to see that the coverage is going to go inside with the underneath route and just throw it down to the sideline. That's what you call an alley route. Two guys going deep, one guy going under, and you read it inside out. The halfback went inside, you throw the outside play. That's Buck's play, not my play. He put that one in after I left.
Buck gave you a lot of credit, but he's evolved himself as a play caller, hasn't he? Rourke throwing again, open in the middle. That's McInnes inside the 10, 5, still going and down to the 1, and a flag is out in the Lions' backfield. Another big play for the BC offense, and it looks like this is holding up.
Clear out the quarter player, get him to move, what I mean by quarter of the field, and have somebody trail and go to the middle. That's what the BC Lions did.
Toronto number 94. Half of distance to goal, automatic.
See, that space opens up because the inside route canceled out the high player to the inside. You do that to McInnes because he's the biggest player on the field. And here's the late hit. Yes, late hit.
Yeah, second one of the game for Andrew Chatfield. Now this one,
I think it's more they're going to say it's a blow to the head. That's why it's not late. It's just a blow.
Or the blow to the head, but the second penalty for Chatfield, but not as much of a consequence. It was already down to the 1. Here we go, first and goal. Short yardage, Jeremiah Masoli trying to push into the end zone and waiting. Masoli is his second down coming up. Masoli has had a short yardage touchdown earlier. He had one a couple of weeks ago against the Ticats in Hamilton against his old team.
Toronto defense holds up here. It's very difficult with this 1 yard. Good push by the BC Lions. Masoli just can't get into that space. Really good stop here. It's amazing Jeremiah Masoli still in the Canadian Football League playing. It's a great individual.
He'll try again. Looking for his third rushing touchdown. He gets tripped up and then turns around. He didn't really have a chance to get in. Lost any momentum when got tripped up, spun around, and still down at the 1. We got a 3rd and goal coming up.
Anthony Lanier, he's the one who causes the trip. Watch him right there. He gets underneath, hits into Pearson. Pearson's legs come back. That's where Masoli trips off of. So great push by the Argos D-line. This could be a huge stop right here.
The way this game has gone, and it's Javon Katoy who's been a big part of the Lions offense with a couple of touchdowns, but he is the injured player for BC. But what a down coming up and a 3rd and goal. BC now trailing by 11.
So you see Katoy right here at the he gets rolled up on right there when Masoli's trying to bounce it outside. It's hard when your foot is in the ground. That can sometimes hurt your knees when your foot's planted in that spot.
So a play that goes wrong for BC in more ways than one, with Masoli not really having a chance to get it into the end zone after getting tripped up early and then rolling on the leg of Javon Katoy, who is up now and limping off the field.
So here for Buck Pierce, as you see him looking at his play call sheet, you're only going to have 1 or 2 plays here for 3rd and goal at the 1. You have a call sheet that's already done. You do it. I was talking to him about it today. You're going to do this call sheet on day 3. You're going to say, hey, this is what we're calling from 1st and goal from the 1, 2nd and goal from the 1, and 3rd goal from the 1, knowing you didn't get in on 1st down, you didn't get in on 2nd down. What do you call them the 3rd time? This is already predetermined.
Big moment here, late 3rd quarter. Handing off, lunging in, and a touchdown for BC. James Butler. Masoli dished it off to the top running back in the Canadian Football League. Finds the end zone, and will the Lions go for 2 to get to within a field goal?
Haven't had success with the quarterback one, so move your tailback up, get him really close, let him jump over, get a little bit more of a running start, and then he can just jump over the pile for the touchdown. Good execution on 3rd down.
For James Butler had 29 yards rushing in the first half. He's up to 55 now, and that touchdown on just a huge 3rd and goal. So indeed they do go for 2 to see if they can get it to within 3. A 35-30 game right now. Under 3 minutes to go, the 3rd quarter. Rourke back in with time. End zone look, but no. McInnes, who's down. Darius Bratton in the coverage, and that just sails out. So it remains a 5-point game. Argos still leading.
Good stop here by the Argonauts. Argonauts got good coverage here. Nathan Rourke's trying to find somebody to throw to, but good man coverage. Everybody's covered, and then the end is tracing Nathan Rourke, so he's got to throw it away. Good coverage in the back end. Difficult sometimes these 2-point plays when the quarterback's using his legs. Extra options, but good stop by the defensive ends and the cover guys.
And actually, Aiden Eberhard, the targeted receiver there with McInnes in the vicinity, but Butler gets the touchdown. 2:45 of the clock till three-quarter time. And the Lions defense needs to do what they did the last time around when the Argos had the ball, because their offense, led by Nick Arbuckle, had been relentless until that last time out. They forced the punt.
And it's kind of like we talked about with the Argonauts to start the game. We wanted the Argonauts to, Argonauts, you better hold on to the ball a little bit so your defense gets a rest. Kind of the same thing. The BC Lions just did a good job moving the ball down the field, getting the touchdown, but also keeping this BC Lions defense fresh, because the Argos are pretty explosive in the second. How many touchdowns? Every 4 straight touchdown drives?
They had 4 straight scoring drives, 3 straight for touchdowns. Not to mention the pick 6, too. Janarian Grant of the return, getting it up to the 38. Well, how about this? Doug Flutie, Ricky Ray, Damon Allen, all Hall of Fame quarterbacks, the legends of the game that have played for the Argos. Arbuckle on pace for 5,459.
Second only to Doug Flutie. That would be an amazing stat.
That was coming, and that was the projection for him, for Nick Arbuckle to join that elite company for single season passing. Spencer Brown, good carry for Brown on the first down, up across the 45, a second and short coming up. They run tempo. They've done it effectively. It's a 2nd and 1. With Arbuckle still in shotgun. Brown beside him. And back to him. And needed to get to the 49. Gets more than that across the 50. The sticks will move. A first down for Toronto. Deontay McMahon injured in the first half and is questionable to return with an ankle injury.
Spencer Brown did a good job there. Like there was no first down. He created the first down with his legs because BC Lions were in the backfield. He made 2 people miss, get the first down.
Just across their 50, looking to sustain another one of those long drives here now. They still have the lead. Brown has the ball and a lot of room ahead. Spencer Brown, after the catch, works it all the way down close to the Lions 40. Another first down for Toronto.
When you have your linebackers, both of them in this position, the tailback will outflank the defense. Nick sees it immediately, throws it outside, outflank the defense, big gain, good recognition, emptying out the backfield. Free release in the back. Understand the linebackers are in a bind because they're trying to stop the run inside over the center.
He was 16 on the ground, 15 in the air. Got a touchdown, also ran in for a 2-point conversion. Arbuckle to throw, looking deep again to the end zone. Touchdown! How about that? Jake Herslow. And Nick Arbuckle has been relentless on this day.
In the Canadian Football League anymore. When you do, you like to take shots downfield. Here's a man look. Nick sees it right now. Takes Jake Herslow. He comes back for that ball. Robert Carter is sick to his stomach. He saw it. He undercut it. He just moved a little bit too far out of position. He thought he would be able to make that play. Jake Herslow adjusts to the ball for the touchdown. Good recognition of coverage and taking the shot downfield by Nick Arbuckle.
In his 2nd year to the University of Houston, and that's his 3rd touchdown of the season. He came in late last year, ended up winning a Grey Cup with these Argos. Made a couple of highlight reel plays and has that one. But once again opens it up as a 2-score game. 11-point difference, and Hairelau trying to make it 12. The point after, with the clock ticking down to the end of the 3rd quarter. The Lions now 12 points down. Now BC's defense had stopped Arbuckle once. Got a flag out on the field as well, but next time they got the ball, they struck quickly again.
Procedure, Toronto, no end.
A lot of no-win penalties lately. I'm not sure what's going on with the league. I assume somebody didn't report, so one of the end man on the line of scrimmage is usually an offensive lineman who has to report and tell them. So that's probably why that penalty occurred. But Jake Herzlow, like I said, like everything he does, he looks, you know, I know that's his third touchdown.
BC is elected to redo the convert 5 yards back.
He's been impressive the last couple of weeks, and you know, you knew with the injury to Coxie being off the roster, they have to find somebody else who can be a big player down the field. Jake Herzl shows him he can do that.
So a penalty against the Argos for procedure, and the Lions have elected to force him to make that convert again at 5 yards back. So it'd be a 37-yard kick now for Liramai-Ralahu to get that extra point and make it a 12-point game.
So there must have been a mistake with one of the end men on the line of scrimmage. As always, you're going to have extra guys at the line of scrimmage to be blocking for this kick, but if they have an ineligible number, you have to report that I'm the eligible player on this play. I don't think they reported on the last play.
So they'll do it again. 5 yards back. Ralahu, well, he put it off to his left, but still does get it in inside that left upright for him. So a 12-point difference, 5 seconds to go until three-quarter time.
Let's get back to the touchdown. Enough talking penalties. It's just a post route, and it's going to be man coverage, and the free safety's not going to be in a position to make the play. You can run it right here and see Jake. Good foot press. What I mean, puts his foot in the ground, just runs by. And that's what I'm talking about. Robert Carter was there. It was short. He undercut. He just moved a little bit too far and couldn't make a play on the ball. Jake was there. So missed opportunity for the BC Lions defense, get a takeaway, but Jake Herzl makes him pay.
4th touchdown in 5 possessions for the Argos. Been a big, maybe the biggest part of the story of this game. Herzl celebrating that one in his 3rd of the season. Nick Arbuckle racking up the passing yardage at over 3,000 coming into this game.
See him there, quarterback coach Mike Miller. And he's reviewing the plays.
25 of 30, 360 yards passing through 3 quarters and 2 touchdown passes, and he scored 1 on the ground. 7 McGee, Robert Carter back. And the pressure continues, even though BC's offense, say the Lions have racked up 30 points, but no rest. Nathan Rourke getting set to come on again, and they need more points. As McGee backtracks, spins, good coverage, and taken down hard there by Jordan Herdman-Reed. Right around the 20. We're at three-quarter time. Seems a long time ago that the first quarter came to an end when BC was in control. Argos have had a lot to celebrate since then. And their exhibition day here at CNE Toronto with a 12-point lead heading to the final 15. It has been a great day for offense for both of these teams. Unfortunately, Lapo for the BC Lions heading to the 4th quarter. They've got to come up with some stops against the Argos in this 4th to have a chance of winning this game.
Second down conversion is obviously one of the most important things defensively. 73% right now the Toronto Argonauts are converting on second down. That's a huge number. You know, the BC Lions are putting points on the board, but every time they do, it comes the other way with Toronto with a touchdown. So they've got to get some stops on defense. They got to create some opportunities, maybe get a takeaway or 2, but they've got to slow down Nick Arbuckle and company. You know, we do know the BC Lions threw a pick 6. That's in the past. I fully expect them to continue to move the ball and put points on the board, but you've got to get some stops defensively for the BC Lions.
Nick Arbuckle understandably smiling, putting on a clinic in this game. Pass for 360, so over to Nathan Rourke. Looking to complete that one, but does not. Up across the 30. Coverage there by the Argos on McInnes. And we got a 2nd and 10 coming up.
Darius Bratton uses his long arm. So it's man coverage. Throw out to the sideline, but watch him come in with the long arm. I call it the long arm, the long closest to the ball. Sticks it in there to make a great stop.
Ball is at the Lions' 20. 21. They trail by 12 to start this fourth quarter. BC put together back-to-back victories to get to 5-5, trying to go over 500. The Argos coming in at 2-8, having, for the most part, a dreadful season after winning the Grey Cup last year. They've lost 3 in a row, and yet the way their offenses look today, especially, looking at a great chance to end that losing streak and pick up their 3rd win. It's a lot of football to come, though.
And obviously understanding the repercussions of the crossover with BC with 5 wins. They're in a crossover spot. This is a huge game for the Toronto Argonauts. And right now the East, right? Both the teams are, Winnipeg beats Montreal, Ottawa loses, so the East is up for grabs. So this could be a huge win for Toronto Argonauts.
And one of the down markers, one of the officials with the CFL was hit on that play at the sideline and getting some attention right at the Argo bench. The game being delayed. With the yard marker on that side, with the sticks with the down marker on the other side, but it's a dangerous game for officials as well, staying on that sideline when the play is coming to them. Here's what happened to the CFL official getting attention right now.
Yep, gets pulled down by the stick.
Sitting up now and get some applause from the crowd here at BMO, and yeah, that's tough. Got to hang in there, and the play's coming to you. So
medical staff for the Argos taking care of, helping them
right at the Argo bench. And standing up now. But you talked about the crossover lap. But with Edmonton beating Ottawa last night, you got all 5 teams in the West that are ahead of 2 teams, the Argos and Red Blacks, in the East. The crossover would be the 4th team in the West if they have a better record than the 3rd place team in the East would cross over. We haven't seen that in a few years, but certainly halfway through the season, it's a possibility to think about.
And don't forget Montreal. Montreal's got to go through some things with James Morgan for a while. So
right.
they are in 2nd place with 5 wins. Argonauts can get to a 3rd win and be just 2 games away.
The Lions are 4th with 5 wins, and Edmonton now with 4 wins are in 5th place. Blitz coming. Rourke gets rid of it. Caught. First down. Aiden Eberhardt has it. Up near the BC 40.
Toronto Argonauts tried to do some pressure, brought some pressure off from the wide side of the field. But you don't really. I just see that every time this happens, Nathan Rourke has an answer, sees it, takes the underneath throw, knows the voided area, sees it so cleanly. That's so impressed with how quickly the ball comes out of his football hands, and he processes the pressures that the Argos are bringing.
Just inside the Lions 40 for Nathan Rourke on that 1st and 10. Rolling out to the right, completes that pass to Keon Hatcher, trying to get as much as he can, lunging out with a new official on that 1st down marker, by the way. Right around there, Hatcher does indeed get it. The sticks will move.
Little misdirection here, faking outside zone play and then booting away. You see Katoy blocking the defensive end, so Nathan can get around the defense and have curl slide read to the field, takes the underneath throw. Good movement. Nathan Rourke throws the ball on the run very well.
Good movement by the 1st down marker as well to get that stick down and get out of the way with Hatcher coming there. Here's Rourke. Pressure! Takes off. Nathan Rourke running. And running well inside the 40, 30, 20. Down to the 15 and out of bounds is Nathan Rourke. Oh, do the Lions need that when it looked like he was going to be sacked? 47-yard run by Nathan Rourke.
Looked like Johnson on the outside comes around. Can't bring him down. Nathan Rourke, strong lower body, then his speed takes over. Nathan Rourke is way faster than people give him credit for. He's rushed for more yards than any quarterback in the CFL. He's got 4 20-plus runs this season, explosive runs. That's his 5th of the season. He averages 9 yards per attempt.
Had one in the first half, but it was negated by a penalty. That was over 20 yards. That one, 47, it counts. Down inside the 15. Throwing, end zone toss. No, McInnes got one hand on it. Bratton was right with him. Coverage was there, incomplete, second down.
Tough location. Same play they completed earlier. This was a little play action pass. The bench route to the sideline, just a little off for the throw to McInnes, and Darius Bratton had really good coverage there too.
The ball is at the Argo 13. It's a 12-point lead. Here in the fourth quarter, still plenty of time. But the way Toronto's offense has performed, the Lions got to be at least trading touchdowns. It's caught by Stanley Berryhill. His helmet comes off. Cameron Judge is in there, and Benji Franklin as well. And Berryhill all smiles as they get it a little bit closer. But this is a thing. Third down right now and a 12-point difference. And what do you consider? Well, Sean White is coming on. Not at that point yet, I guess, still with over 12 minutes to go. Take what points you can get.
Yeah, a couple of things. 12 points left. Yes, you want to take the points, and they're moving the ball fine. So they're going to get They're going to get at least 3 more opportunities with the ball in their hands.
The bottom line is the onus is on the BC defense to make some stops. If they're going to win this game, if they're going to come back, they got to slow down Arbuckle and the Argos. Sean White 1 for 1. Another short one put down by Meyer with the 14. Up and through. Still a 2-score game, 9-point difference. Now some pressure on Mike Benavides' Lions defense to slow the Argos down at the X, the CNE in BMO Field. I got to give a shout out to this guy playing the Steve Martin role here, but you're our Iron Man. Hey, I've taken trains. I took the train again today to get to this game, and I know you've been taking the automobile. Actually, literally for you, I take the train, you get the planes and automobiles. But love that movie.
I could add a boat into that because I flew into Toronto Airport.
There you go.
Right, to the airport down here and took the ferry over.
My friend, this is 3 games for you in the span of under 48 hours. So kudos to you, our Iron Man this week. Week 12. Here's Arbuckle deep again and open again at Herslow. It is relentless as he reaches for the end zone. Another touchdown. And just one play. No stopping the Argos on this day. Touchdown after touchdown. Herslow again. That is their 5th touchdown and their last 6 possessions.
Misdirection and then a play action pass. You're going to fake like it's a speed sweep in one direction, and then they're going to boot away. So fake it. Now you have the tailback as an underneath, but you're looking deep to see Gary Peters or the halfback if their eyes are distracted by the play action pass. Obviously they were. Herslow makes him pay. Arbuckle makes him pay. Amazing touchdown on one play.
This offense is just making it look easy against the BC Lions today. Herslow, 4th touchdown catch of the season, 2nd of the afternoon. And Nick Arbuckle has now thrown for 430 yards. 3 touchdowns, no picks.
So you're going to come this way. Herslow's going to go deep, but the tailback's going to be the player who leaks out into flat in case Nick gets pressure, and then he's going to boot to this side. But just keep your eyes over there. They lose sight. They start to scramble as one receiver goes across the field. Somebody's got to stay them. Gary Peters gets caught up. I assume Gary Peters, the only corner left over that field. He's got to stay deep with Herslow. Loses sight of Herslow. Herslow takes it deep for the touchdown. Great scheme, great execution. Misdirection play. Herslow's, we talked about this off the top of the show. One of my biggest points in this game is, hey, you've lost Demonte Coxie. How are you going to create explosive plays? How are you going to get 30-plus plays? Jake Herslow, everybody.
Wow. I mean, this has been a frustrating season. Let's not mince words here for the Argos. Miserable at 2-8 coming in. It's like they're taking out all their frustrations on one team in one afternoon on offense as Nick Arbuckle. He's having the kind of day. He showed those all-time greats in the league, and with Toronto and Flutie and Ricky Ray and Damon Allen. Let's just say in one day, one very memorable day for Nick Arbuckle. Be remembered for the performance he's putting in on this one anyway, 26 of 31. It's been epic.
84% completion, 430 yards, 3 TDs.
Seven McGee, nowhere to go. Coverage on special teams there. Johnson. Marcus Johnson on that tackle, but back to the tablet.
Hats off to Ryan Dimwitty getting his team ready to play. And, you know, there was a lot, you know, knowing Ryan, he will tell you like it is. He told his team how it is. We got to perform better, and they're stepping up and playing hard for him tonight.
49-33. And the most frustrating thing for the Lions, they just don't seem to be able to stop this Argo offense on this day. Rourke, deep shot, and too far. Catoy was there, and Derek Sluka, the safety, closer to him, and went over his head. Second down.
I don't think Catoy thought he was going to get this ball. And Nathan, I don't know if Nathan saw that safety, that Sluka was there. He is going to throw. He's going to put it on a rope. Put a nice quick throw so Sluka can't make the play.
To go, 10.5 from the fourth. Four-man rush. Rourke gets away from the heat, and he completes that one downfield. Good work by Rourke to get that to Hatcher again, and that's up across the 50 and a first down for BC.
I can't tell you how great a throw this is. Like, he spins out, flips his hips, and finds his boundary number one and is able to get to him. Gets Keon Hatcher for the first down. That's an amazing football play. Just have the understanding where Keon Hatcher is, spinning, and being able to process where he is and locate that.
And so Rourke has gone over 300 yards passing, and Hatcher up to 122 yards. Chatfield is down for the Argos. We'll take a break here at BMO. With final round action, coverage getting underway at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on TSN. I tell you, Brooke Henderson came into the day just a shot off the lead and still is through 13 holes, trailing only mid-G lead. Canadian content is down the road in Mississauga here. The Toronto area, the X going on, a couple getting married too, tying the knot at the X. Hey, why not?
Do you get married at the X?
You do now with James Butler up across midfield.
I think a lot of wives might have something to say.
Well, I'm sure she was okay with it. Can't control the proposal, but you can certainly control the wedding. Under 10 minutes to go. And
there you go. Yep.
Can you control how many of these you can consume? I guess whatever's in the bag.
A couple of these when we were on the broadcast. I had to move the bag.
Long-time staple of the C&E, by the way, Tiny Tom's Donuts.
I've heard that's in the that's part of the food after the wedding.
Here we go on second down. Rourke struggles to get rid of it. The Argos get some heat on him, and it's turning into a very frustrating day for even Rourke and the BC Lions, racking up a lot of points, but not nearly enough on this day. The way it's gone so far, third down coming up, and Carl Meyer is going to have to kick it away.
Able to get pressure with just 4 rushers and play coverage, so that was excellent for this defense of the Toronto Argonauts. Has really stepped up in the second half. This last 2 series.
Part 2 of our doubleheader coming up later from McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Meyer to punt this one away. Janarian Grant got over his head, lets it roll into the end zone. So BC does come up with a point on a 58-yard punt by Carl Meyer, but still trailing by 15 points. And what a day for Nick Arbuckle, who just keeps going. A one-play drive for a touchdown last time up. Sample of his many great plays on the day level.
And part of this is the interesting thing. The BC Lions have given up explosive plays. Big plays, too many big plays in the CFL. But this defense has given up the second fewest passing yards all season. So this is a bad game for them in the back end, giving up these explosive plays. these long drives. And you look at this game, if you look at this drive chart, there is 6 drives, 5 touchdown drives, and 1 punt.
3 receivers off to the right, handing off. We got a flea flicker. They're looking for more. It keeps it shorter, just throws it away. Patrice Rene, the closest one to it. No Argo receiver around. So here they are with a 15-point lead and all this passing success, and now they try a flea flicker.
Flea flickers happen when you cover everybody, so you have enough protection because the back is not part of the protection because he's technically the quarterback. So they protect all their gaps. Only have 2 receivers out. Good coverage. Has to throw it away. Good decision. Special plays like that, they're great to call, but you just don't, sometimes you think you have to make the big throw or not. All it has to be is completion or an incompletion. It's no different than missing a hitch by the quarterback.
Ball at the 40 and a 2nd and 10. Arbuckle over the middle, nearly intercepted. Well, the Lions certainly could have used that turnover. Deontay Williams had a chance right around the Argo 45 instead. Toronto is stopped, though, and will punt it away.
A late flag coming down.
Back in the secondary of the Lions.
And this was a very late flag.
10-yard misconduct foul. BC number 21. Play results in a first down.
Wow. Keeps the Argos offense on the field. Ronald Kent flagged for that 10-yard penalty, and they'll move it up to the Toronto 50, and they get to keep the ball.
Not sure what happened here from the punt, from this, whether taunting with the Toronto Argonauts or saying something, or a bit, last week versus BC, I talked about it earlier, 12 penalties, 137 yards. Difficult penalties when you're trying to get back into this game. It's only their 4th this one. You just got to get back into the football game. Can't do that.
So a 1st and 10 instead of punting. 3 receivers to the right and handing off to Spencer Brown, getting his good taste of action after that injury by on Deontay McMahon, putting Brown in just his 2nd game with the Argos into action with a touchdown, 2-point conversion, running and picking up 3 more yards there. 2nd and 7 coming up for Toronto halfway through this 4th quarter.
Toronto put the ball on the ground, keep moving the clock, try to keep one more possession. If they get one more possession for a field goal, they kind of seal this game.
Only 2 wins coming in. A victory over the Ottawa Red Blacks, and here a month ago against Winnipeg. Arbuckle. Ball comes out. Argos have it. Brown alertly picks it up. So they'll have to punt, but they'll still get that opportunity after it was coughed up by Arbuckle.
It's one of the weird things about Nick Arbuckle. He's got 6 fumbles this season. So this is he's had 5 fumbles coming up into this game, with lost 4 of them. Not just him. I think that's a little bit of Matthew Betts creating that fumble as he comes in. Good job by Spencer Brown picking it up, ensuring that there's a punt on the field.
So a couple of downs later, a little more time off the clock. Ultimately, the Argos will have to punt. John Haggerty back around his 35. Seven McGee back there with Robert Carter. Excuse me, Stanley Berryhill, the other punt returner, high up the top of the screen down in the return area for the Lions. But clock is ticking. Argos are happy to let it tick away. Haggerty with a 15-point lead. Coming in as McGee at the 20. Not much more. Gets it up close to the 25. Isaac D'Arcangelo among the tacklers there in the coverage unit. For the Argos, Nathan Rourke gets set to come back on. 18-28, 303, couple of touchdowns, but still they're in a big hole. Been a bounce-back season for Keon Hatcher, coming in as the CFL's leading receiver, and he's now gone over 1,000, right at 1,000 yards now, with 122 yards receiving on 6 catches in this afternoon.
122 yards and long of 30. Just plays a number of different spots. When you watch him on film, he's somebody who's like great route runner, great body control, great understanding of where to sit in zone. how to run away from people in man coverage.
1st and 10. Running the football. James Butler, and there's a high hop there, and he's still going. Won't go down. Finally does. Up closer to the 45. A 19-yard pickup for James Butler.
James Butler, big Jake Herslow fan. Big Jake Herslow fan.
Love those hurdles.
Likes the hurdler just like Jake does.
I'm telling you, at the end of the season, we got to have a hurdle reel. Lots of samples. That's caught. And a 1st down. Aiden Eberhardt cross midfield down to the 52 of the Argos, as the Lions will try to work quickly now. Playing tempo, down 15 points, under 6 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Need a quick touchdown drive. 4-man rush. Throwing again to the left. It is caught. Hatcher again. Keeps his feet. Doesn't have the 1st down. Pushed back there by Benji Franklin. But does set up a 2nd and short.
Good recognition by Benji Franklin, but just very hard when the quarterback recognizes Benji Franklin's going to be a low player. He throws it back inside, make an easy catch. And
Chatfield is hurt again, still down on his knees, favoring appears to be his left arm. The medical staff of the Argos coming on to see him. To 2nd down and short. We were talking about BC, how quickly they were working at the start of the game. Their first 2 possessions, 2 5-play drives for touchdowns. Lo and behold, with this much time left, 5:29, that's exactly what they need now. They need touchdowns, and they need them in a hurry.
Yeah, they'll be, you're going to have at this point, Buck has on his sheet, he's going to have 6 or 8 calls that are, he can say a coded word, and then everybody on the team knows it is. They can get right up the line of scrimmage. When the quarterback blows it in, they can yell, go, set, hut, the ball snaps, so you lose very little time. You get ready to snap it with 16 left on the clock.
And the Argos without one of their best pass rushers. They run it. Butler. Another good pickup. Enough for the 1st down inside the 40. As Rourke is just calling out the play, getting them up over the ball as fast as they can.
And this is also good for a quarterback at times because it simplifies the pictures of defense. Can't make a lot of calls, and you're not going to call a lot of plays.
Throwing it quickly to the left and turning around too quickly is Berryhill. Wanted to turn that upfield, but hadn't secured the ball. Ball's incomplete, 2nd down.
One of the things you always try to teach your players is, hey, we're going to play fast, but when the ball comes to you, you got to slow the game down, right? We're playing faster than defense, but the game can't be too fast for you. Berryhill's too fast for the football. Can't turn away. You got to see it in your hands. Then they stay on the move.
You can see on that replay just how quickly he was trying to turn around and get something, get some yardage. In that situation now for Berryhill and BC. Couple of touchdowns down. 4:40 on the clock. 2nd down and 10. Rourke gets hit, loses the football, and the Argos recover. Toronto football. Wynton McManus coming in. Gets to Nathan Rourke before he can get rid of the ball.
Miscommunication. Wynton McManus is here, and there's a lineman right here. Like, the lineman slides down. All of them go this direction, and nobody blocks Wynton McManus. You cannot do that. You got to block. The left guard's got to stay. Corey Woodruff, I believe, has got to stay there and take the block of the inside B-gap player. Nathan Rourke doesn't expect that to happen. That's why that ball turns into a fumble.
Another costly turnover for the Lions. The only turnovers in this game, the other one was the pick 6 by Benji Franklin that really turned this game around after a great start by BC. And that time with the Lions trying to drive down, get to within a score, denied on the hit by Wynton McManus, forcing up the fumble. An Argo football.
Timeout, Toronto.
The Argos take a timeout.
We're good. We're good.
The BC Lions last week, an interesting stat for them. They beat Montreal at -1 turnover margin. It's not going to happen this week, right? They got 2 turnovers. One was a pick 6, and now you're in a situation like, well, when you're facing a team that's moving the ball so well, every turnover you give is going to lead to points. So they were able to overcome a losing turnover margin against Montreal last week. Different story this week against Toronto, especially with Toronto scoring on one of those turnovers.
At the 43 and a 1st and 10. The Argonauts try to put this thing away. running well. Spencer Brown had a good game for Toronto as he gets it up, setting up a second and short, closer to midfield across the Argo 50.
Good run by Brown. Just finding the crease. I like the block on the inside. Castro getting pushed at the line of scrimmage, they can bounce it up inside.
So a 2nd and 2. Next week, the Argos take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the annual Labor Day game. BC will have a bye.
Shane Richards in there, gets beat up front.
Enough for a first down.
Still a first down.
Up to the 54. And big game coming up here on TSN, part 2 of the doubleheader with the Riders and the Stampeders at McMahon. And then next week, the 3 Labor Day rivalry games. Looking forward to that as well. You have the Riders, well, they've got the Stamps in their mind today, and then they get Winnipeg. Bombers steadily improving now at 6-4, and you've got the Ticats and the Argos, and then you'll have the Stamps taking on the Edmonton Elks, a resurgent team in Alberta. Breaking through again. Another good run there by Spencer Brown to set up another second and short inside the Lions 50.
When young players get opportunities to play, they always are going to, always running backs. They're going to break tackles. They're going to make all the things they need to do to show people that that I can play. Look at this.
Great day at the X. Would you do that? That'd be fun. We'll be back. 3-minute warning. Coming up, McMahon Stadium in Calgary, Trevor Harris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders have an 8-1 record, and they will still be the top team in the CFL standings regardless today. But Calgary looking to get closer. Vernon Adams and the Stamps at 6-3, and the only team to have defeated the Riders this season. Coming up, interesting Western showdown at McMahon here in Toronto. Talk about unexpected. Not that the Argos per se are leading the game, which they are, but just how they've done it with a very explosive offense. 49-34 they lead. They're running outside of Spencer Brown, securing another first down. They're going to the ground a lot, of course. These late stages of the game, 2:28 on the clock.
Circle the defense on an outside run. Really good. Getting around the... Good pressure as they go around this, trying to get outside from the perimeter as everybody's running inside. Usually at this point of the game, BC Lions are going to be cramming defenders inside to stop the inside run, get a perimeter run to flip the field, gets first down.
Well, a better running day for the Argos too. Worst team statistically at running the football, but up to 84 on the ground as a team. And adding to it now with Spencer Brown, padding his stats. And his first big chance for him, his second game as an Argo, and stepping in to the injured Deontay McMahon and making the most of it.
And what's hard for the BC Lions, you know, this is going to be their last game before they go on a bye. They go on a bye next week. So, as a former coach, as somebody like, it's not a lot of fun, Brad, when you lose a game and then all of a sudden you got to go on a bye week. It's very hard to take a loss. You're thinking about football all week. You'd rather win the game, and then you have a good feeling for your bye week.
Rushing totals for both. BC hadn't run very much either till the second half. Still running hard is Brown. That's second and short. It's all Spencer Brown in this drive as they look to close it out and not even give Rourke and the Lions offense a chance here. 1:40 on the clock as they get deeper and deeper into the Lions zone, down to the 25.
Yeah, you see BC trying to roll some defenders in, just trying to rotate some guys. See defensive coordinator Mike Benavides. A bunch of defensive linemen rolling into the game now to get some other reps. And you're going to continue to just get runs till the end of this.
Why not? 21 keeps chugging along. Spencer Brown. His drive continues. Looks like another first.
Good for Spencer Brown. Gets the opportunity, shows up. all these practice squad players, these younger guys, they're always trying to show up and say, hey, listen, keep me in the building. I know you got guys on your Nate list, other guys you like. I'm the guy here. You can win games with me as your starting tailback.
We had other running backs this year, including Kevin Brown, Kalen Laburn, both let go. And another injury to Mac Mahan now, who missed 3 games earlier. So an opportunity for that young man, Spencer Brown. And they just keep going to him as he takes it down inside the 10. Another second and about 4 to go. More importantly, just relentless, chewing up the clock. 53 seconds, 2-score game, 15-point difference, and the Argos about to officially get their 3rd win of the season and match the Ottawa Redblacks again. Spencer Brown that time negative yardage after all those positive gains as he is tackled there and a 3rd down. Declare them the winners now. As you look at, you got Hamilton at 6-4, Montreal and BC at 5-6. Remember the crossover in play still, even though there's still a lot of football to be played. But both BC and Edmonton would still be crossing over ahead of Toronto and Ottawa, the way things stand right now.
And Toronto's got to feel if they put some string some wins together, they can keep pace with Montreal for 2nd place.
Of course, in that scenario, only one, either the Lions or Alex, they both can't cross over, not meaning that, but the way the playoff format is, top 2 teams in the East, and then if there is a team in the West with a better record than the other 2 teams in the East, as we saw, then they would cross over. But still a lot of football, as mentioned. We're just past the halfway point where things stand right now. Jake Herslow.
30-yard average per his catches, only 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. Pretty productive player. Enjoy watching him on tape.
Argos don't need the points, but here's a little icing on the cake for Liram Hiralau. 8 seconds to go. 52-34. 18-point difference. And in what has been such a challenging season for that team, a day to celebrate with lots of fans there to see it more than usual. Biggest crowd since 2018 to watch the Argos at the X. Game 2 coming up, Saskatchewan versus Calgary. Well, for Nick Arbuckle, I can't imagine anything being a greater football memory than winning the Grey Cup last November when he was called into action with the injury to Chad Kelly. But as far as regular season games go, pretty hard to top this, what he has done. 26 of 33, 430 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And yes, it's been a long time since we've seen an Argo offense look that relentless.
Very good response after a couple of tough losses the last couple of weeks. A couple strong words from their head coach. Nick Arbuckle steps up. And also, let's not forget, you know, we've been talking about all these big yardage games. That's with DeMonte Coxie in the game. Without DeMonte Coxie,
their leading receiver.
Without their leading receiver, they step up, have a huge day, make plays defensively, pitched in. I know defense gave them, but they also had a pick 6 on defense. So good win at home versus their biggest crowd of the year. A lot to be proud of for the Argonauts leading up to their Labor Day game. Big game versus the Ticats coming up.
7 McGee on the return. Zeros on the clock. In this traditional game in late August, it was an exhibition of offense for the Toronto Argonauts. Buck Pierce, Ryan Dinwiddie shake hands. That man, Nick Arbuckle. A day to remember here at the CNE as the Argos, rough season that it's been, do manage their 3rd victory of the year in style, decisively beating the BC Lions 52-34.
They think BC Lions got to go back to, they got a bye week to get prepared, go figure out what they can do to get better defensively. But good feeling for Nick Arbuckle. Congrats to Nick on a huge output day and to bring Toronto back into the mix with 3 wins.
Frustrating for the Lions, who head off into the break. Now under 500 again at 5-6. No problem at all for Stiegel and Mwamba. Well, maybe a bit there. And Dave Naylor and Kate Burness, who's just ruled the day at the X. Give her another stuffed animal. Give another. Love the way we're mixing in the highlights from the X and the highlights from the Argos.
Let's go.
Burness wins. Herslow catches a touchdown. The Argos win.
See you at the donut shop, everybody.
See you there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. So long.